Yeah, those boys are ready. They're fired up, getting hyped. Sooners, Cowboys. Less than 10 minutes away, Bedlam for the Big 12 championship. Let's get in the huddle real quick. Let's get it in real quick, baby.
We don't huddle on the spread.
Be careful.
We don't huddle on the spread.
Be careful, you might split your pants.
Final segment, ready? Let's get it. All right, determining factors, guys. Matt, what you got?
For me, guys, it's Oklahoma State defense. This is a weather game, obviously. Ball security is going to be an issue for both teams, I believe. Guys, Oklahoma State been a bend but don't break defense all season long, but they lead the conference in takeaways, so they do create a lot of turnovers. They're a very opportunistic defense. That's going to be key for me, getting turnovers on that explosive Oklahoma offense.
It's not only getting turnovers, they turn them into points, but for me, it's Oklahoma State special teams. 6 block kicks this season, and for their defensive tackle, Vincent Taylor. He's got 4 this season alone. He's going to be a game record. If it comes down to something close, look out for special teams.
All right, those are the factors. Who's going to win?
I got Oklahoma 45-42 shootout. Not a lot of defense played in this game. I think they're going to be able to run the ball more effectively in this game.
I like Oklahoma as well, a little bit more higher scoring, 52-49. I'm thinking Oklahoma able to win by a field goal. They have to protect up front. They don't allow Vincent Taylor to mess it up.
Even in the rain and the cold, a lot of scoring out there, man. Getting hyped. Ready to get hyped?
Let's go, baby.
We're getting close to kickoff, man. Let's get you out to Norman and the guys calling the game. Tim Brando, Spencer T, take it away.
All right, Mike, thank you. They don't care about any stinking playoff here. The P's that matter are purpose, priorities, perseverance, and passion. It's Oklahoma State and Oklahoma for the Big 12 championship. Bedlam has been part of their lives forever, since before it became a state in 1907. They were only battling for a territory then. Hi again, everyone. Tim Brando. By my side, Barry Sanders. No, wait a minute. We wanted Barry. We got Spencer Tillman. You played in 4 of these.
Yeah, he was faster than I was.
Talk to me a little bit about it.
Well, the thing about it, it is a true rival. I'm jealous of the guys down on the field today, mainly because of what the job that Oklahoma State has done. Mike Gundy, in his 11 years as head coach, has closed that gap. So much so, they can look toe-to-toe to these Sooners in the eye and say, your place or mine. It doesn't matter. And that's good for the series. It's not competitive. It's not a rivalry. That's the difference today.
Now the road team has won in each of the last 3. And here come the Oklahoma Sooners. One thing about this matchup and the teams within it, they've followed similar paths through the course of this season.
Yeah, rather nondescript start for both teams stumbling out of the gate, and it wasn't pretty. OSU with 2-2 in the month of September, losses to a middling Central Michigan team, and then number 16, Baylor. Since then, 7 straight they've run off. They've been impressive down that stretch. And you look at the margin of difference, let's see if that pays them well if it's a tight contest. And then the Oklahoma Sooners losing to the University of Houston, and then a tough home loss here against Ohio State. That stung them too, but ultimately, they turned the season around, ran off 8 in a row. We'll see. They've been dominant down the stretch. We'll see if they can continue that trend.
The other aspect that comes to mind is how strikingly similar these teams attack the opposition's defense.
Yeah, particularly at the quarterback position. It's almost like a mirror image of one another. The efficiency title gets put on Mason Rudolph, but let me tell you, he can hit the deep ball with accuracy as well. His counterpart, Mayfield, the undisputed heart and soul of this team, is outstanding. Great receivers to throw to. The 50-50 specialist, James Washington, breakout year for D.D. Westbrook. He has been off the charts since he's been healthy. And Timmy, I think this is where the difference in the game is going to play out. Both these running backs, comparatively, if you look at the last game, over 300 yards rushing as a tandem, 7 yards just the difference between those two. I'm telling you, that Oklahoma State bunch is OU light in the running back department.
And the team that some believe should only have 1 loss, how about them Cowboys make their way out onto the field? The third member of our broadcast team is one Bruce Feldman, and he has more on perhaps one of the most explosive players in the country.
That's right, Tim. Before the season, I talked to Baker Mayfield, who told me he was motivated by the snub of not getting invited to the Heisman presentation last year. Well, Mayfield is a Heisman candidate again, but so is his teammate D.D. Westbrook, their big play man. Westbrook, he said, has brought a world of difference because of that speed and explosiveness to this offense. And Baker said, I know there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on us today. I'm going to do everything I can to try and get him the Heisman. I said, who would you vote for if you had a vote? He goes, it's easy. It'd be Dede. Absolutely.
He's got the winning look. And the winning look is sponsored by Coca-Cola. The 111th edition, throwback hairdos, and a 20th century championship. There is more to college football than 4 teams in a playoff. We'll be back.
Speed breaks through. Look out! This is Bedlam.
87,000 plus on hand here at Owen Field, Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium. This is the 111th edition, and yes, it was a territory in the beginning. Sooners dominant in the series, but of late. And it really began over 20 years ago when Pat Jones was head coach and Gundy was his quarterback and Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas were playing. They were challenging Big Brother. Mike Gundy knows a heck of a lot about this series. This is his 26th Bedlam game in all capacities, as a player, an assistant, and now as a head coach. Bob Stoops has a chance to win his 10th title. That would be more than the 9 losses he's had at home in his career. And the opening kick is through the end zone for a touchback, and it will come out to the 25. OU won the toss, deferred. So let's get a look now at what to watch for when the Cowboys have the football, Spencer.
Timmy, we've seen enough of them this year. The passing game is OSU's outpitch. That means that James Washington and Mason Rudolph need to assert themselves quickly. Why? Because the Sooner secondary has some weaknesses in it, and I think good schemers will try to exploit that. Cornerback Jordan Thomas will have to have his best game of his life. He'll likely draw James Washington man-to-man coverage situation along with the homegrown talent. Linebacker Jordan Evans, an inside linebacker that needs a perfect game to have reasonable results today.
Guys like Sanchez and Eric Stryker are gone. This is a very young defense, 91st ranked. They've yielded a lot of yardage. And Justice Hill will take it off the left side, and right away he has a first down all the way out to the 43-yard line. Ahmad Thomas makes the saving tackle just like that. An 18-yard gain for the complimentary back, the freshman from Tulsa.
And they're going tempo fast. They like to do it. If they get those open plays, they're going to continue to speed rush him.
That's Veach, the tight end, who moves into a power situation and will lead Justice Hill. This time over the right side, ahead for 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. Austin Roberts, number 95, made the stop for the Sooners.
Tim, you know, Hill and Carson combined for over 300 yards against TCU. This is a tandem that's going to be a key to this game.
Oh boy, they were trying to go wide receiver screen, and James Washington, the intended receiver, disrupted. Jordan Thomas was squatting on that one, Spencer. Almost got a pilfer.
He really did. He split the coverage. You can see him. His eyes were peeking inside from the beginning. He read it like a book and then drove on that play. That's film study and outstanding deployment at the corner spot.
That'll make his defensive coordinator, Mike Stoops, who's up top, the brother of Bob, former Arizona head coach, very happy. It's been tough for this very young defense with all the stars they lost of a season ago. All that said, they have a chance to win their 10th game of the year. Carson is in the backfield on 3rd and 7. Rudolph loops it incomplete, intended for Jawan Seals, the senior from Port Arthur, and it'll be a punt formation coming up for Oklahoma State.
Nice job of Mike Stoops mixing up. He had man coverage to the top of the field, and then to the near side closest to us, he went with a zone look, and that kind of confused Mason Rudolph, I believe. He went to the offside when I think he had a chance to play the front side of that a little bit more.
Zach Seiner will punt it away. Had 3 punts for just under 39 yards against TCU in their last game. Both teams coming off open dates. So even with the wet weather, expect the unexpected when both teams have had a lot of time to prepare. And that is D.D. Westbrook back deep with a fair catch called at the 16-yard line. 39-yard boot from Seiner, and let's get a look at what to watch for when Baker Mayfield and company come onto the field.
Well, Tim, Oklahoma's been playing complimentary football ever since giving up a record amount of yards against Texas Tech. Samarji Pirine, Joe Dixon are in line to be the thorn in the side of this defensive unit here today. And that's my opinion. You got to watch for them early on. OSU's 2 best defenders have to match their threat. That's defensive tackle Vincent Taylor and especially inside linebacker Devontae Averett. They have got to stop those two. If they can't, it's going to be a long afternoon for the Cowboys.
They have been very strong up the middle. It was noticed by Coach Stoops and his offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley, who's down along the sidelines with him. Those tackles and safeties have been solid. It's Samaje Perine to open, and he gets ahead for maybe 2, and that's about it.
You mentioned Lincoln Riley. He is so excited about Orlando Brown, their left tackle, and then Powers at the guard position. Ben is another contributor on that left side. They would like to exploit that, and you can see Lincoln Riley there. Second-year offensive coordinator Bob Stoops went out and on a limb and brought him in. He has been absolutely exciting to watch call games.
Yeah, it's back to the future. There's a fumble. It's on the ground. Perine lost it, but I do believe it's Perine that got some help from Dimitri Flowers, the fullback. He has been a valuable commodity to this team. He comes up with it.
Well, that's one thing that Oklahoma can ill afford to do, because Oklahoma State has perfected the art, Tim, of turning teams over. They're among the nation's leader in that category, and it is a core value for this team. Glenn Spencer and company have done a tremendous job in getting their mindsets ready to turn folks over.
They forced 23 turnovers, most in the Big 12, plus 9 in takeaways. Huge part of their success. You're right. Mixon and Perine now both in the backfield. And on 3rd and long, they swing it out to Mixon, who's become a very effective receiver of late. And he gets just beyond the original line of scrimmage. Trey Flowers, that strong safety that we talked about, along with Jordan Stearns, veteran players, a junior and senior, that have really helped Mote Miley and Vincent Taylor, the 2 tackles, comes up with it. And after the transfer of punts, Cowboys figure to get good field position as Seibert prepares to boot it away. Jalen McCleskey is back deep. High, short, but well defended, and a fair catch called for at the 41-yard line. A 41-yard boot. Coming up, James Washington. Watch for him on 50-50 balls. He lit up Oklahoma early last year. What about this season? We'll find out. Fox College Football, presented by Jared, is sponsored by the all-new 2017 Ford Super Duty. This is the next level. And by the all-new LG V20. Life's good when you play more. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, Bruce Feldman in Norman, Oklahoma. Bedlam in the Big 12 championship at stake here on Fox.
Single safety look, trying to encourage them to throw the football. We'll see. Rolling back to a cover 2. This is an invitation to run.
And they'll do just that. A fake, actually, and the quick pass out to McCleskey. It was a play fake, and they got it out to Jalen, the sophomore from Covington, Louisiana. There's Big Obo Okoronkwo, number 31. This young man is filling a lot of space and making an impact almost on every play, number 31, and the cream and crimson of Oklahoma. 2nd and 6 after a gain of 4. Now they go with Carson, who tries to cut it back up, and he gets to midfield. 2 yards shy of a first down.
Yeah, Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma, playing a cat and mouse game. That last play, they had a single safety high, and all that means is you've got more numbers around the line of scrimmage. That's why you don't have success on short runs like that.
And on 3rd and 2, Rudolph keeps it. That extra lunge is going to get him to within about a half yard of the line to make. Jordan Evans made the tackle, so decision time coming up.
Well, you got to make a decision, and when you have these little option routes, you got to do the basic thing, and that is stay home and allow your secondary support to fill and support. That's exactly what the Sooners did on that play. Outstanding defensive effort.
Well, they waited to the last moment and decided to go ahead and punt it. Given the conditions, probably a wise choice. They almost got a fumble from Perine inside the red zone a moment ago. Zach Seiner will boot it away. D.D. Westbrook awaits at the 10-yard line.
And Timmy, he's 100% healthy, no problems with that hamstring. That's the reason why he's been so explosive, over 1,300 yards from the receiving position, but he's as dangerous as a return guy.
Westbrook with the fair catch at the 11-yard line. Well, just what we expected, right? A track meet. Right out of the gates, both teams just scintillating on offense. Well, we'll see the Sooners rushing attack when we return to Norman. Fox College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. 0-0 our score, just underway first quarter. Baker Mayfield bringing his Sooners back out onto the field. We asked him about the differences this year from last when he was a Heisman finalist. He said, you know, I'm using my playmakers better. And Lincoln Riley said, yep. His offensive coordinator said more patient, more willing to distribute, even better than he was a season ago. Total package. Joe Mixon is in the backfield on first down from the 12. Not much. That interior alignment of Oklahoma State led by Averett, the linebacker that you mentioned, Spencer, coming up to make the stop. Got some help from Lindsey Pipkins, the grad transfer from ULM and Monroe out of Mansfield, Texas.
Yeah, Lindsey did a nice job of securing that and being that second man to nail him down.
Second down and 9. On the read, Mayfield decided to keep it. That play was doomed from the beginning thanks to Jordan Burton, who had tremendous penetration, junior from Kilgore.
Yeah, number 20 comes off the corner here, Tim, and you can see he reads it and plays it with integrity. By that, his head was on the inside, but he slowed down and gathered himself just enough to make sure the elusive Mayfield could not make him miss in space. Unbelievable tackle against a very athletic Baker Mayfield.
Sooners with 5 plays for -4 yards. Backed up now on 3rd down and 15. This will be a consistent and steady rain through the course of the day. 100% chance. Both dynamic backs are in the backfield. This time it's Pirine to give them a little bit of room out to the 13-yard line. Chad Widener, one of the real leaders for this team, number 45.
Well, Pirine is such a load at 235, you know, over 160 yards last time out. His battery mate over 100 yards between them, 307. That's a tandem that you got to find a solution. And so far, Glenn Spencer, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State, has bottomed up pretty good.
McCleskey is back deep. Seibert to boot it away. Fair catch called by Jalen at the 45-yard line. He secures it after a 42-yard boot. Oklahoma State, 4 of the last 6 years, the winner has determined the Big 12 championship. 2 straight years, the outright title on the line. We've played 5 minutes, a little over 5 minutes, 4 full possessions already in this game, no scoring. And let's take a look at the KFC stat comparison between these two. First quarter scoring, they've been outstanding, and each team's defense has snuffed them out here in the early going. On first down, beautiful read by Rudolph, and gets the first down, sliding safely at the 40-yard line of Oklahoma.
Beautiful call. Got Caleb Kelly, the outside linebacker, number 19. He read it and bit and drove down on it. Nice mesh point read by the quarterback. Outstanding play call by Mike Yurcich, the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma State.
Rudolph has really developed into a solid quarterback. And I don't know if there's a quarterback, Spencer, that handles contact any better.
Well, he's big. He's 6'5", about 235, Tim. They just fall off him like Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, the guy just shifts him away.
The handoff is to Justice Hill. Look at the freshman go inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, and let's go down to Bruce Feldman. Bruce?
Tim, Mike Gundy had told me the biggest area Mason had improved in is sliding within the pocket, keeping 2 hands on the ball. Also, in this bad weather, they pointed out, threw 8 touchdown passes, almost 500 yards in a downpour in the state title game in South Carolina in his senior year.
By the way, Jordan Evans gets through there to make the stop of Justice Hill there. Should mention that Bob Stoops' son in high school, his 2 sons were playing in Tulsa last night, Union against Norman North.
Yeah, the Union Chieftains, along with Jinx, outstanding programs in the state of Oklahoma. They came up on the short end, but he had a couple of touchdown receptions, as you pointed out.
Yeah, he's got 2 outstanding young players growing up in the Stoops family. Chris Carson in the backfield now on 3rd down and 1. It's Carson. It's first down and more. Ahmad Thomas finally runs him out, the senior from Miami Central.
Look at the patience of Carson. Again, he's the bigger of the 2 backs here. He reads it and shows you the vision, the patience to wait till that hole develops there. He's got that ball in the inside hand. If he puts it in the other side, maybe he has that right hand free to fend him off. But that's a tremendous power run by Chris Carson. Part of this tandem in this Cowboy backfield is awesome.
Sooners on their heels and have called a timeout now with the ball at the 7-yard line. And with this field position, that Mike Gundy's had really after that first down, the 18-yard run that he got from Justice Hill. They've had the better of it in terms of field positions. Time now for them to cash in. This is a critical juncture.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Hill figures in that this. Obviously, he's the smaller of the two backs, Tim. But let me tell you, there's the inside game. There's the emotional part of it. He's from Booker T. Washington, just about 120 miles here in Tulsa. He's an outstanding back. We play well when you're at home. It's an outstanding position for him to be in.
This week, start your Sunday with Fox NFL Kickoff and America's #1 pregame show. Then Todd Gurley and the Rams battle Tom Brady and the Patriots. And in America's Game of the Week, Odell Beckham Jr. and the Giants clash with Big Ben. You mentioned Roethlisberger a moment ago. And the Steelers, or other regional action. Coverage begins tomorrow at 11 Eastern only on Fox. Carson remains in the backfield on 1st and goal after the Sooners timeout. These two teams have really been living with the ground game in the red zone of late.
Attack this short side of the field here.
Carson burrows ahead to about the 5-yard line. Pretty good penetration from Oklahoma's Ahmad Thomas, the free safety coming up to help Caleb Kelly, number 19, the linebacker.
Yeah, Caleb Kelly came down inside in that particular position, the alternate of where he was when he got beat on the previous play. So again, Caleb trying to atone for his mistakes earlier, makes an outstanding play.
Justice Hill checks in. Boy, they are just the yin and yang of this running game. Hill and Carson, and I love the way Yurcich Spencer is utilizing them.
This is what Mason Rudolph does well. He's a general now, getting his team in the exact play he wants to exploit the defense.
It's a stretch play and a cutback. And stopped, I believe, at the 1-foot line by Ahmad Thomas is Justice Hill. That was a beautiful cutback that the freshman made, but he was met head on right at the line.
Instinctive and intuitive. The success begins with getting in the right play. And the key to that stretch is to take it as far and as fast as you can until the backside throw separates and then you hit it upfield north and south. And the freshman out of Tulsa, Oklahoma got it there in a hurry.
And he got met with a safety who was in a bad frame of mind, Ahmad Thomas. 3rd and goal from the 1.
Attack that gap up top, Timmy.
Oklahoma State is looking to get a timeout. The ball was fumbled. They were in trouble from the beginning, and you could see the coaching staff running to the line of scrimmage trying to get a timeout. They did not like what they saw. Rudolph did wind up on top of it.
Well, I'm not sure what discouraged them from trying to get in there to get a play, because it wasn't the formation. The ball never got seated properly from the center to the quarterback. So whatever the coaches were frustrated by, wanted to turn around. It was the exchange that was more problematic.
Well, they were really, Gundy was running to the line of scrimmage. This will now be a 19-yard field goal for Ben Grogan. And he puts it through. So the Sooners get a little help from a slippery ball on a center snap exchange with the quarterback. Strike up the percussion section. Bring out the history. The currency of college football is about winning your conference championship. Fox College Football presented by Jared is sponsored by T-Mobile. Switch to the network built for unlimited data. And by Wendy's Sriracha Bacon Fries for a limited time only. So an 8-play 53-yard drive, 349, and a center snap exchange problem forces a fumble and a recovery by Rudolph. They settle for 3. And by the way, Oklahoma State is 4-1 this year when scoring first. D.D. Westbrook awaits the kickoff. And it will come to Joe Mixon instead, and he's pretty good at this too. Hammered, though, immediately at the 16-yard line. Outstanding coverage.
It might have been Ben Gordon over there. Phillips. That was Phillips that came in there. Justin Phillips.
You're right.
It tagged him pretty good and smart on the cover and special teams. It's one of the most exciting plays, but you got to be able to get there.
2 months of dominance. Number 2 overall in scoring offense. They have been through the roof good, but they've been throttled so far here today.
And part of that production, D.D. Westbrook has been huge He has more receiving touchdowns in the last 8 games, Tim. That's 15 than all but 3 FBS receivers in their entire seasons.
Yep. Look at that. That is not a typo, folks. That's what they've done today. All right. And they have not had good field position, clearly. They're setting up shop inside their 20 again. Play fake to Mixon. Looking downfield for Westbrook. I believe they're going to rule he's got it at the 36-yard line for a first down.
Nice in-cut, deep route, and Lincoln Riley certainly settling in. Yesterday he told us, and I asked him the question, are you a formula guy or are you a field guy? Obviously he's got to be a little bit of both right now because it necessitates that they get this offense. So he goes to the out-pitch guy, number 11, D.D. Westbrook.
No team is any better, no quarterback better at throwing vertically this season than Mayfield.
Nice cut.
Mixon, and a good tackle in space by Jordan Stearns. We told you this senior has been outstanding. 77 tackles, 56 solos, and 3 interceptions.
6 foot, 200 pounds, and despite understanding you've got a big back in front of you, he makes a tremendous open field tackle. That's where you celebrate. You can do it because you just made one against one of the best. We've got an injured Cowboy down on the field now.
Yeah, I think that's Kurt Tucker, the junior from Tucker High School, Tucker, Georgia, is down on the field. And they're tending to him at the 37-yard line. I got a real kick this morning out of listening to the concerns around the country that this game suddenly lost some of its luster, Spencer, because of the Colorado victory. Oh, excuse me, the Washington victory over Colorado last night. Listen, this is bedlam, man. This is a rivalry game. And for either one of these teams to say that you've claimed a title against your rival, that's what it's really all about.
We can see if it take place where the injury comes right here. And you can see the collision. You know, you get a big guy falling on top of you. That's Ben Powers, the left guard, that got in there and pounced on him a little bit.
I think you guys in '84, when you were on your way to the championship, you were ranked 4th and they were ranked 3rd.
Yeah.
Correct?
They've always played competitive, Tim. And the thing about it, when you look at the way Oklahoma State functions right now, the 11 years that Mike Gundy has been there, he's given them stability. Longest tenured coach outside of Bob Stoops in the conference. And you can see it, the stability of the program across the board. They've made the greatest inroads in terms of, with the help of T-Boone Pickens and the facilities they've got, they've closed the gap.
They're spending a lot of money in renovations that will be ready for the spring game this year. We got a good tour of it from Athletic Director Joe Castiglione. So Oklahoma trying to improve their situation here, and are doing so in a very big way. Mixon in the backfield, and he'll take it. Again, outstanding penetration from that interior of the Cowboys defense, and it's Chad Widener again, the redshirt junior, coming in there to make the tackle.
Yeah, from Mansfield, Texas, number 45. He's a stalwart in the inside of this defense in the heart for Glenn Spencer, and he roams around there, man, with intention. They give him some flexibility, especially when they're running these 3-man fronts and they know those guards are uncovered. He has to feel and be confident when he does it.
3rd and 9. From the shotgun. Looping it for Westbrook. That's a brilliant defensive play. Outstanding coverage by Justin Phillips.
Justin Phillips gets an A for effort there because he was a man coverage, just a 3-man rush, so there was no pressure on Baker Mayfield, and that's a dangerous proposition to give a quarterback who's learned to work within this system. And again, Phillips just there in his hip pocket, defending against T.D. Westbrook, denies him an opportunity, and the Sooners to advance the football.
Punt time for the Sooners. Austin Seibert will get it off around his 25-yard line. McCleskey awaiting at his 25. And the fair catch is made at the 30-yard line by McCleskey. 33-yard boot. Well, earlier today, the flyover was in honor of Mike Winchester and his contributions to Sooner Sports and Southwest Airlines. Mike tragically passed away a few weeks ago. He worked for Southwest for 29 years, a member of your '85 team, Spencer, that won the national championship. He was known as someone who always had a big heart and a big smile, and our thoughts and prayers are with Mike's friends and family, and I know he meant a lot to you.
Yeah, he did, and his wife, known them for many, many years, since he was about 18 years of age, and he had a big leg and a bigger heart. Mike Winchester is going to be missed big time.
From the 30-yard line, first down, Oklahoma State. Justice Hill is in the backfield. Bingo! goes like that. Lightning quick. Yards after contact, and he's got it down to the 35. A 33-yard jaunt. Jordan Evans with the tackle.
And if you're a Sooner fan, you're discouraged for a number of things. Look, there's nobody back here on the back end. That means the Sooners are expecting the run. They've got so many bodies around the line of scrimmage. Once you pass that interior front, there's nothing but air and opportunity. Mike Stoops has got to get away to defend that.
How about that broken tackle of Ahmad Thomas? That's a good tackler, too, that he got away from. Chris Carson checks in. That got him over 1,000 yards, Hill, with that run on the season. And now Carson's in the backfield. Rudolph decides to call his own number, designed run, and he burrows down to the 35. They had given Hill the 38-yard line on that prior run, so it's a gain of 3. We'll call it 2. Second down and 8. There's Justice Hill. That's a freshman record now. You think of all the greats that have been there. That's quite flattering for the young man to be. True or redshirt, the most ever in school history. That gets him past the likes of Thurman. I mean, that's big time.
Yeah, it really is.
Second and 8.
Rudolph again getting them in the correct play.
Carson's got plenty of room on the edge. Pretty good defensive support from Jordan Evans. Forced him to cut it back in. Took it away, but initially that play looked like it might go for more.
Well, Evans was the last line of defense around that right side, and again, they had the numbers to match up. But whether it's Carson or Hill, either one of them, I'm not going to belabor this point, but remember, Hill was not even on the radar for the Oklahoma Sooners as a prospect out of Booker T. Washington in Tulsa, just about 113 miles here from Norman. He's playing with a little bit of chip on his shoulder, even though that was Carson in that last carry. Hill, I think, is going to have an outstanding game.
You know all about those chips on the shoulder. And here he goes, bouncing off another. He's got a first down. Flags down. Back at the 33 as he is rustled to the ground at the 15-yard line again by Ahmad Thomas.
Well, it may be holding here up front. And again, anytime a guy gets through that mush of players with so many people around the line of scrimmage, it's typically going to be a holding.
Holding, offense number 60. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay third down.
Brad Van Vark is our referee. It is the right tackle Crabtree that's nailed here.
Well, you can see him right there on the reach. He's got a double team working with him, but he goes outside, and I don't know, that's a little picky call for me. It's kind of hard to see from that angle, but he had a tag or a team block and then came off to help against one of the secondary smaller men. They'll get you when you're weighing nearly 300 and blocking a 170-pound guy, but it's kind of tough to see from that angle.
It was sold well by Emmanuel Beal. Carson remains in the backfield. Plenty of time, and that pass almost picked and then almost received. Jordan Evans absolutely had it. I think he was looking ahead for pay dirt. And then after he missed it on the tip drill, Jalen McCleskey almost reeled it in.
Pop was saying, son, you needed to have that one. I mean, Evans really had it in his gun sight. He read it properly. Just a little zone. Sit down. He just steps right in front of that one. Thrown right to him in the numbers, and he just drops it. Sooners could really have used that turnover, Tim.
He had visions of pay dirt dancing in his head. D.D. Westbrook is back deep inside his 10. Signer goes with that end-over-end approach this time. And it lands as it typically does, a little like a pitching wedge. 30-yard kick, but very effective, backing Oklahoma up. They've been backed up the entire first quarter of this game. Well, tonight, live in the Octagon, it's the Ultimate Fighter, a Tournament of Champions finale. The UFC's #1 pound-for-pound fighter, Demetrius Johnson, will put his belt on the line against the winner of the Ultimate Fighter, Tim Elliott, plus coaches Joseph Benavides and Henry Cejudo. Cejudo will battle it out. The Ultimate Fighter finale is coming up tonight at 7 Eastern on FS1. From the 12-yard line, it's 1st and 10.
Sooners are finding themselves in an ultimate fight here again against a defense that, for the most part, kept them in a bottle, especially the run game. That balance lost for Oklahoma.
Under a minute to play in the quarter, and it's a quick pitch to the wide side to Pirine, and Trey Flowers runs him down.
Well, from Converse, Texas, and they produced a lot of great players. You're going to see number 31 come and play in space. Pirine, you know, these guys are young, and Pirine's a great back. No one can take that away from him. When you've got the ball in your near hand and a guy is attacking you, you've got to protect that ball, place it in the furthest hand away from your body so you can have that left hand free to fend them off. And maybe you can break that at 235. At least you got a better shot.
This Oklahoma State defense held TCU to 6 in a game we had a few weeks back. They've been outstanding of late. Pirine in the backfield, play fake to him. Now Westbrook. He's got it. It's a first down out to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, Pimpkins was there on that corner, and that was a nice job of reading, beating man coverage. And
got a little extracurricular going on here.
A little salty action going, man. That's
woofing
bedlam,
going
Timmy.
on.
That's bedlam. That's bedlam.
We were thinking that might have ended the quarter.
That's the end of the first quarter.
I think Brad Van Vark decided, you know, maybe we need our guys to cool down a little bit after that play. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State going for a title in the Bedlam Series. Cowboys lead by 3 through 1. Fox College football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Well, the first time this season that Oklahoma has been shut out in the first quarter. We touched on this defense and how they held TCU to 6. Glenn Spencer has been around a long time.
Yes, he has.
Knows this series inside and out. You know, he's had the benefit of having Vincent Taylor, who is a two-gap guy, who is occupying a lot of space, and he and Mote Maile, numbers 90 and 96, he says, has been the real difference in them from a defensive standpoint in the last month and a half.
Yeah, because he allows them, both Vincent particularly, allows them to get pressure on them. And the bottom line is, when you see you're able to get pressure on a formation with just 3 and not bringing 5 to create a blitz context, that's a good thing.
Play fake to Pirine. Baker Mayfield with time. Wow. This is where he's devastating, and so is this guy. D for yet another TD.
Darius Curry, the cornerback, was defending number 2, and again, that's a mismatch. He turned him around, and Westbrook stayed active and did exactly what he needs to do. If your quarterback starts to improvise, you go lateral to the line of scrimmage with him. Westbrook comes open, and then that after the catch factor that we talked about in the pregame paid off again.
16 total touchdowns. Westbrook, a Biletnikoff and Horning finalist, has had a remarkable 8-game stretch. And yet another example of what Mayfield can do when he ad-libs. The instinctual part of the game. 2 guys that can make big plays, and they answer the bell after being shut out in the first. A 7-3 our score. The Schooner has taken some short rides today, not as many long ones because of the inclement weather. Want to make sure that the field is in good shape. Didi's running all over it, though. 16 total touchdowns for him, and 12 of those, by the way, passes over 40 yards. Chris Lacey, an outstanding receiver and special teamer, takes the kick, and it's out well beyond the 30 to the 31-yard line. They'll rule him out of bounds, and let's go down to Bruce.
Guys, yesterday afternoon I visited one of the Oklahoma coaches who said they have a big play tape. They have shown the Sooner receivers of about 65 plays Oklahoma State's defense has allowed, and that coach said, we really think we can take advantage of it and hit some big plays. Look for Didi to get cranked up tomorrow.
Well, they must have taken a look at it in the exchange, because Oklahoma had just 40 yards on 12 plays in the first quarter and 69 on 1 to open the second quarter.
Well, another example of what Glenn Spencer, the defensive coordinator, was concerned with. You get good pressure, then all of a sudden it becomes an ad-lib job, and that's where you can get beat. Washington, the intended receiver, that pass was thrown a bit too low by Rudolph, and it falls incomplete. He was right there, though, on the slant, and he's their big play guy.
Yeah, for him, I'm still going to say that that's a rare drop, because that's good enough for him to make that play.
Yep. And
we've seen James make that play many times before. Jordan Thomas was defending on that one, but that was just a miss. It came right between his hands, more than a makeable catch there.
2nd and 10. Hill, the setback. Blake Jarwin, the tight end, shifts into the backfield. And will lead block here for Hill. Spinning, turning, and churning ahead for 2. 3rd down and 8 coming up. Caleb Kelly making the stop.
Caleb has really been strong after his misstep early on, and Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator, said one of the things they primarily got to do is get their run fits. Each one fits in that gap, in that space. Sooners playing good run defense right now.
Well, you see the rushing yard story. It's all been Cowboys, but they have not been able to convert inside the red zone. They had to settle for 3 after the center snap exchange at the 1-yard line. 3rd down and 8. Carson, the setback, out of the shotgun for Rudolph.
Sooners committed to stopping the run with their numbers.
Blitz coming from the safety, and it disrupts the play beautifully. Kelly was coming, the linebacker. Pass intended for Washington again, but Mason just had to unload that one.
Mike feeling really emboldened with number 19 here. Kelly coming off the outside, takes on Carson, sheds him. Carson can't see Rudolph trying to evade in the background, and that's just a tremendous job of reading by Kelly. You can see, here's Mike Stoops right here. He's a live wire, man. He's like a lit fuse racing to a point to explode, and I mean that in a positive sense in terms of getting emotion. You're not going to find anybody more engaged and wants his defense to do a great job.
This is the 4th punt for Oklahoma State, 7th in the game. Westbrook is back deep and will call for a fair catch at the 30-yard line. Baker Mayfield and D.D. Westbrook. He said he wanted to throw him to New York. Just get an invite. But right now, he's thrown him to the lead in Bedlam. Fox College Football, presented by Jared, is sponsored by Progressive, handing off big savings to you. Norman, Oklahoma. Tim Brando along with Bruce Feldman down on the sidelines, and Spencer Tillman with me. And so far, I think the difference has only been Mason Rudolph's receivers have not caught theirs, and D.D. has caught Baker's to this point.
A rare drop by James Washington. We don't see him make those kind of plays very often. But again, I think that, and then the fact that the adjustments that Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator, has made in this second quarter, he's got to do something, because they gave up 121 yards rushing in the first quarter. And I think that response so far has been pretty effective for the Oklahoma Sooners in that run defense.
They start this drive at their 30-yard line with Samaje Perine in the backfield. Play fake. Mayfield rolling out of the pocket and looping it deep in a busted coverage. It's Dimitri Flowers. .66 yards. Perine and Mixon now hustle in. It looked as though they were going to go tempo. Now they've slowed things down just a bit. 1st and goal from the 3. That's Mixon. Where was the mix-up here, Spencer?
We'll give Lincoln Riley credit. Number one, you can see these move plays where they bring the quarterback outside the formation. This is a delay cross all the way deep down the field. The back comes open. Flowers does a tremendous job of navigating open space. He's a bigger guy, so they eventually caught up to him. But again, this is the second time, with D.D. Westbrooks being the first, when Lincoln Riley has been able to take advantage of formation on those deep crossing routes with the back and then with his outstanding receiver. You've got to be able to adjust to that.
Call it from the 2-yard line after a gain of 1, 2nd and goal. Now a late switch. Perine moves in. to the Wildcat, and he takes it. And Oklahoma State was prepared for that. Stopped by Jordan Stearns, number 13, the senior, free safety.
Yeah, Oklahoma State has got to do a better job of recognizing when they go with that twin formation outside, way outside the numbers. That can be an easy steal, kind of a natural pick route they can run down there if the Sooners want to. So now the Lincoln Riley offensive coordinator has a snapshot of what they'll likely do. Don't be surprised if this play does not succeed, if they come right back to it.
3rd and goal from the 2. It's Pirine in the backfield now with Mayfield back at quarterback. Rolling and tossing, and there it is. Touchdown, Geno Lewis.
A flag on the play.
Might we have motion? Fireworks going off, but you're right. We do have a flag, and it was thrown immediately.
Much to the chagrin of Bob Stoops.
Brad Van Vark with the long conversation.
Pass interference, offense, number 11. 15 yards from the previous
They got Westbrook on pick. And he can't believe it.
A lot
Stoops
of times
cannot believe it.
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, we see what he does when he's got the ball in his hand. But here, number 11, obviously from the officials on the natural pick, you got to sell that a little bit more. I mean, the thing you want to do is you got to act, Timmy. Yeah. You can't put those arms out there.
Well,
like
not only that, that was a post up.
Yeah, exactly.
He got the derriere in position
He was backing
too.
it in. He was the low post action, man. Holy cow. You got to sell that one.
Yeah. And you'd think a senior, the veteran would, that was obvious.
Yeah.
It was a good call by the officials.
He got his sports mixed up there. He was posting up, man.
Well, that really backs him up. It's a huge call because in this game, a 2-score lead is big. That pass is called incomplete. Wow. Should have been a touchdown. Mixon dropped it. It was right there. Right between the 2 and the 5.
Now that's a rare drop by Mixon, and we talked to Lincoln Riley, their coordinator, yesterday, and you can see him out of the backfield. He's going to come up here and then a little out route, beats the coverage. I mean, he's got it, man. Right? You can't miss that. Yeah, he's got hands like a wide receiver. I mean, he's going to be an elite next level player to be sure.
That's actually the part of the game, his receiving in the red zone, that Lincoln Riley's been most impressed with of late. Seibert will now try a 34-yard field goal. A big break for Oklahoma State. Both the offensive pass interference and then the stop to hold them to 3 after the 67-yard, officially we're going to call it, throw to Dimitri Flowers, who got them in position for a touchdown. Strange things happen when it's slippery when wet.
Walk on, ancient queen, follow those who pale in your shadow. Did she make you cry, make you break down, shatter your illusions of love? Now tell me, is it over now? Do you know how to pick up the pieces and go home?
Rated M for mature.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Gallery of Jewelry. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, Bruce Feldman, happy to have you with us. It's Championship Saturday. A lot to be determined. First and foremost for the 87,000 plus on hand here in Oklahoma. A Big 12 title and trip to New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl. Barry Sanders will let this one go through the end zone and for a touchback. 2 big plays in the passing game in the second quarter for Oklahoma. One a bust coverage and one just a great play call.
You're right, number 11, Westbrook, just on an improvised play, a double move, reading what his quarterback is doing to stay open. And again, we know how dangerous he is once he gets the ball in his hand. But when Trey Flowers on the back end of this play is actually Lincoln Riley out scheming the opposition. I'm going to show you exactly where he is off the line of scrimmage. He is a back working as the end man on the line of scrimmage, and he breaks the middle. Averett, number 40, typically would be assigned to him, but that matchup broke down. He read it as an inside run, committed himself, and then Trey Flowers just ripped him right down the middle. Outstanding scheme by Lincoln Riley.
Ramon Richards saved that touchdown, and it could pay dividends if this one's close late. And generally speaking, Bedlam is close late. This pass, a crossing pattern for Washington is thrown low and incomplete from Rudolph. He's tried to hook up with him. Washington did have a drop. That one really not catchable. 2nd down and 10, but he is clearly targeting number 28.
He is, but Jordan Thomas was giving him a funky kind of a look on that play, and it wasn't man. It was a combination coverage with the linebackers dropping in deep zone, and that's what gave Rudolph a bad read.
Chris Carson in the backfield now. They go with a trips formation to the bottom of your screen on 2nd and 10. They're going to have to get a timeout. Yep. Did not like the alignment and decided to take a timeout with 11.5 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. Mike Yuricich and company will chat with their quarterback.
Rated T for teen.
It's the year's biggest event, and we're taking the galaxy by storm.
Fox College Football presented by Jared is sponsored by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Well, it was back in November of '84. Oklahoma State at number 2, Oklahoma. What a remarkable game that was. Thurman Thomas and the Cowboys overwhelmed by the Sooners. It was 3 versus 4, and little Spencer Tillman rushed for 102 yards and a couple of touchdowns after Keith Jackson had the touchdown catch. I believe Keith Jackson may have been calling that game.
Rolling around on that side.
Oh, golly wally. And you guys went on to a national championship January of '85. Here's Chris Carson over the left side to about the 26-yard line. Matt Romar made the stop. Spencer, I know back in those days you knew how many touches you were going to get as a running back, but as many great backs as you had, were you ever aware that you'd get more than, say, 10 touches in a game?
No, you never could anticipate that, particularly when we're in pure bone, where you had 3 backs in the backfield, and our fullback was handling the ball as much as either the left or the right halfback. So with Marcus Dupree, and with a whole lot to share, big boy.
You took that red shirt as a freshman.
Yes, sir.
As quickly as you could. 3rd down and 9. Little bubble screen. They go to Jawan Seals. He's ahead to about the 32-yard line, not nearly to the line to make. And it's a punt formation coming up.
But to show you how things come full circle, to complete that thought there, even though today has not been a featured part of the Sooners' attack, their 2 running backs are elite running backs, just like it was 30 years ago. So time moves on, but sometimes it comes full circle.
D.D. Westbrook drops back deep. Signer will punt it away yet again. The Cowboys were finding a lot of room in their running game early, not so much of late. This one is a low one that D.D. does field. Well, I think they're going to say
he's got to work on his little signals.
I think he waved at us about, oh, by the way, that was a fair catch you called, D.D.
Yeah.
41-yard boot, so you can't run with it. With more on Baker Mayfield, here's Bruce Feldman.
Tim, before the game, I ran into former OU quarterback Trevor Knight, and I had seen him the day before where he had a beard. Now Trevor has a Fu Manchu. What gives? It's Baker's idea. He wanted all the quarterbacks, including former OU quarterback Cody Thomas, who's now a baseball player in the Dodgers organization. He said, we all did some Just for Men. I said, why? He goes, Baker thought it'd be fun. So this is the direction they're doing for Bedlam.
Gosh, I thought that was reserved for granddads like me. Just for men.
Hey, man, it's utility.
Oh, boy.
It'll extend your
what
career.
What a great kid Trevor Knight is, too. And good for him, the change that he made to Texas A&M, even though it ended with an injury for him. That's Joe Mixon, stopped by Jordan Stearns. We talked to Bob Stoops about Trevor and how happy he was for him. He said that's exactly what that graduate transfer rule was designed to do. And he's absolutely right about it. But how about Baker Mayfield coming over here from Texas Tech saying, you know what, I think I want to play there. where an incoming quarterback just won the MVP in the Sugar Bowl in a win against Alabama.
Yep. When I think about Baker Mayfield, I think of resiliency. He's not intimidated by the challenge. He's going to embrace it and knows that ultimately it's going to produce character. We need more resiliency in players like him.
2nd and 11. Nice cutback by Pirine. Samaje is met at the 35 by Calvin Bundage, #1. That star linebacker with a heck of a hit.
Yeah, he's from Edmond, Oklahoma, up north here, and you can see Pirine does a nice job of hugging that zero block up front. But man, what does he get tagged big time by Calvin Bundage? Puts that head down, and he gives him a nice shoulder shot too. It almost came head to head as a matter of an incident. But as far as Bundage is concerned, Calvin came in and just nailed it. Good, clean hit.
3rd down and 3. Edmond, Oklahoma, the home of Oak Tree, one of the great tracks in all of golf. Dede on a little jet sweep action has the 1st down to the 40-yard line. Trying to get him the ball in a variety of ways. Cole Walterscheid, #82, made the tackle.
Yeah, but watch Cole. I mean, one of the things that he did after the initial contact, he stays active. Walterscheid doesn't give up on the play, and that's how you run and chase and make tackles. I'm telling you, because you will have an opportunity against this team. You may never know where this athletic talent will come back towards your way.
Statistically, that goes as more passing yardage. Dede now 4 receptions, 111 yards. On 1st down, it's Mixon. Well, if you don't make that first tackle in space, then you're going to give up a lot of yards. Trey Flowers ushered him out. A healthy gain there. Richards had his shot, did not come up with him.
Ramon Richards, #7 again. He was on the outside, and he had pretty good technique, except he should have had his head on the outside. Again, to make your point, you cannot tackle this guy haphazardly in that way. You've got to come, keep his waist in your eyesight, and tackle him above it.
1st down with the ball at the 47. Oklahoma State dominated the 1st quarter, but only got 3. It's been all Oklahoma in the 2nd. They were going with a little trick play, and in so doing, had a little mix-up between Mixon and Mayfield on the pitch back. Almost turned it over.
I'm not sure if Burton, #20, here scared him a little bit on that mesh point. You nailed it correctly. It was a trick play intention, but if you're a back and you see #20 screaming off that side, you know you got to turn your back to pitch it. The time that's going to take him to get there, man, that's a risky play. So understand what the back was trying to do to protect that play.
After the loss, it's 2nd and 16. Again, 3 wides to the top of your screen with Mixon in the backfield out of the gun. Mayfield on the cross. It's Westbrook again. Those seam routes are so good, and boy, he got nailed by Stearns.
Yep. Jordan Stearns.
I don't know that the pass, did he hang on? He got hammered.
Well, Jordan Stearns sternly put his helmet right.
No, he lost it. It's an incomplete pass, but yeah, that fans are booing Spencer, but there's nothing wrong with this hit.
Yeah, you got to be concerned here. They're going to take a long look at this hit.
I hope he's okay. I sure hope he's okay.
Well, I'm not going to speculate, but I've seen plenty of hits like that. That's not a good hit.
But I got to tell you, he got him with the shoulder.
Yeah, you're right. He did get him with the shoulder. And he did lead with the crown of the head. I'm not quite sure how no flag was thrown.
I saw shoulder.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that he didn't hit him with his shoulder, but look at the crown of the head.
Again, no question.
The head is down, but he did hit him on the shoulder. So to me, that's a clean hit.
Yes.
But it's really about what happens when you fall after that, and you have to look at the flight of the head as it hits the ground.
I mean, yeah, there's no denying vulnerability.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no denying vulnerability here.
No, I'm not suggesting that he was defenseless at all. What I'm suggesting is after the hit, when his head falls to the ground, that's what I'm looking at if I'm Oklahoma. I'm concerned about that.
Well, let's go to Mike Pereira back in our Los Angeles studios. Our replay official, David Ames, no doubt taking a long look at it. Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, you know, we looked at it until that very last shot. We thought it was a legal hit shoulder to shoulder, and I still think it's below the neck area a little bit. It's puts David Ames in a position, though, that he needs to look at that. Another thing he's going to look at, catch or no catch. And it was ruled on the field as incomplete pass, which we think is good because the contact simultaneous with the foot coming down, and then he doesn't hold on to it when he hits the ground. But, you know, to me, is this enough for replay to put targeting on? if I'm David Ames, I don't really think it's the flagrant one that he would really need to put on.
I agree. And Westbrook, obviously, the good news is he's up on most of his own power, making his way back to the sidelines, responding to some of his teammates. It was a very difficult moment. When you saw the hit, it had a drastic effect visually. But Stearns hit him with his shoulder. I mean, there's absolutely no denying that.
Yeah, but once again, let me be perfectly clear. It was not the initial contact that I'm concerned about. It was actually his head hitting the ground after that.
Yes.
The back of the head, the cerebellum. That's the area you got to really be concerned about, man. That's
which would mean concussion symptoms.
Absolutely.
Will be there, and he'll go through the protocol.
Absolutely. To a much less significant point, you've got your elite player that's out of the matchup, and that certainly makes Glenn Spencer's task a lot more easy.
That's why these fans are booing. Yeah. I get that. I also believe that targeting should have been called, and that would be an error. 3rd and 16. Mixon is in the backfield, out of the shotgun. Mayfield under pressure, gets away and throws it incomplete, almost picked off by Ramon Richards. Pretty good read by Ramon. He was looking for Jordan Smallwood, number 17, the redshirt junior from Jenks, Oklahoma.
Kenneth Magruder Ederson, number 3, and then number 7 did an outstanding job of forcing the issue with Baker Mayfield and then paying it off Richards on the back end, making a nice defensive play. So 3 and 7 combining for a nice defensive effort for Glenn Spencer's stop unit.
I'm sure Bruce Feldman will be busy at halftime trying to find out for us the status of D.D. Westbrook. But you're right. I think it was the hit of the head on the turf that probably potentially could be more problematic. McCluskey is back deep, calls for the fair catch at the 10 off the boot from Seibert of 43 yards.
They're still not happy about that, are they, Timmy?
No. And I'm sure we're being lit up on Twitter. But that's the business that we're in. As you mentioned so often, we live in a world of images and impressions, and what we have to discuss is immediate and absolute. And even you mentioned that there was no question he led with his shoulder, and it was, according to Mike Pereira, low enough that you would not bring in flagrant targeting. 1st and 10 from the 10. Oklahoma State has been throttled here in the second quarter after a pretty productive run game in the first. Hill trying to go stretch, and here's the penetration. Emmanuel Beal. Well, the junior from Reynoldsburg has been big time. We've got a marker down to go with it at the 14-yard line.
Well, they sort that out. Okoronkwo, the outside linebacker, number 31, was all in the kitchen of that offensive execution there, Board.
Oboe causing a problem, right? There he is.
There he is.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 14, 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
I didn't notice that in real time. We'll take a look at it here.
Oboe was in the backfield.
Wow,
that's where the disruption happened.
I thought Hill actually initiated that.
Emmanuel Beal is the inside linebacker, but again,
maybe
it's that
like
right
Hill
hand.
Initiated that?
Well, two things. Bill has the back like a horse collar in the back. They don't call that, but it was the face mask, I think, in the front that they clearly saw.
Yeah, I think Justice Hill is the guy that initiated using the face mask with the stiff arm. At any rate, Rudolph comes out of the pocket. And as resourceful as he is, he gets ahead to the 33-yard line, a couple of yards shy of the first down. Matt Romar, number 92, making the tackle.
Now, Oklahoma State wants to go fast right now. It's rare that you'll get Rudolph making that type of play, but he can run. He's mobile.
Hill again. What a nice quick move. Boy, you talk about quick feet, Spencer. Those short, choppy steps. That was fantastic at the point of attack.
Here you go, like smoke through a keyhole. Nice vision. Justice getting upfield. That's the verdict. Excellent play.
On first down, looking long, Washington. He's got it at the 12. Jordan Thomas was there in single coverage.
Now you know why we said earlier it was so uncommon for him to drop that low ball. The 50-50 ball, he owns it. It's his. You can see off coverage by Jordan. He runs with him, playing what we call a bail technique, where he's got his face to the quarterback, watching the whole distance. He just got beat by a superior player.
44 yards the game. Now in the red zone again, Oklahoma State. Carson. He gets it to the 6. Just a marvelous catch, too, by Washington.
It's about claiming territory. That's what Oklahoma's history is about. Claim it as your own. He stuck it, did Washington his stake in the ground that one, and politely handed it to the official.
Well, we were talking about Ogbonnie Okoronkwo, number 31. He's down on the field at the 10-yard line, so some concern for him. By the way, Washington is now second in the Big 12 with 60 receptions, 1,159 yards, 9 touchdowns. That before today, second only to, guess who, D.D. Westbrook. He's a marvelous big play guy.
Well, it only took him a couple of catches against West Virginia to get 100 yards, and he's sudden and he's explosive. And when you watch this offense, Tim, it alternates between calm and explosive power. Let's take a look and see if we can see the headshot right there.
So Okoronkwo, that's the knee that gets him, is one of his own really that got him.
Yeah, that's
Gallimore. It was the Gallimore's knee that got Obo there, and he's at least halfway to his feet.
Bob Stoops, you can see him so engaged, talking it out. Scott Anderson, the trainer and group, make their way off the field. And Scott Anderson, one of the best in the country at what he does there, walking next to Obo.
These young players, you know, Kelly's on the other side at that outside linebacker spot. Mike Stoops was telling us, gosh, we've got guys that are freshmen that have only been here since June. Okoronkwo, the junior from Houston, Texas, is one of the solid veterans of this team. 2nd and 4 coming up. Chris Carson is now in the backfield. They can make the 2-yard line and get a first down without scoring a touchdown. McCluskey in motion. It's Carson. And he just rumbles into the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys. We saw him take out a couple of TCU guys 3 weeks ago, and he ran with vengeance here.
Speed plus mass equals force. It's simple physics. You can see 32 just put his shoulder down. Low man is always going to win. And if you're standing still, believe me, you're going for a ride. You don't even have to want to go. Number 32 is a tough out.
He went right into the chest of Jordan Evans. That's a big-time defender. 29th rushing touchdown of the year for Oklahoma State. 8th for him. Grogan with the extra point. It all began with Washington, National Player of the Week after catching 9 for 296 in that big win against Pitt. That was the explosive play, and look at that. They play for keeps in Bedlam, and we're tied at 10. Fox Sports College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, Bruce Feldman. Talk about a game-changing drive, culminating with the touchdown jaunt of Carson, and it was done with authority. 90 yards that drive. The big play to Washington for 44. Here's Mixon with the return from his 4. Flags down as he's ushered out of bounds with a lot of help from Cowboys after a 12-yard return. We'll have to check the marker.
Holding, receiving team number 45. That penalty be half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's Carson Meyer, reserve fullback, the guilty party. And once again, Oklahoma will begin deep in their own territory.
We'll see if number 45 right here in the back.
Yep.
And when a guy passes you, the best thing to do is just let him go. He takes his hands off, but it's a little bit late. The infraction had already occurred.
By the way, it was Justin Phillips he was holding, who had on the last kickoff nailed Mixon, I think, after about a 10-yard return. So,
well, there's a narrative and a storyline that carries over from play to play in Bedlam. I can guarantee you that.
So no Westbrook. He's gone. Yep. The ball is at the 8-yard line. Samaje Perine, again, the running back.
Glenn Spencer's mixing it up.
And it's Samaje going over tackle to about the 12-yard line. Stopped by Chad Widener again.
Glenn Spencer, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State, is mixing things up much like Mike Stoops, his counterpart, did in the second quarter early. And you can see showing early dividends on this first play. 9 bodies ultimately around the line of scrimmage, sacrificing the safeties. Play action looks like it could be an opportunity.
2nd and 6. Perine again. Not much.
Yeah, Oklahoma State's committed to stopping the run down here. 2 things give them that confidence. They backed up. They've got Oklahoma inside of their red zone, inside the 10-yard line, in fact. And then the fact that they've got so many men around the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Offensively, you're not inclined to do anything but run the football down here.
Vincent Taylor led the charge there. There you see Westbrook along the sidelines. He is communicating to some of his teammates. Perine remains in the backfield on 3rd and 5.
It's a 3-man rush.
There's another drop. This one was thrown a little behind Smallwood, and maybe he was feeling the heat from a potential hit similar to the one that D.D. Westbrook absorbed, and he let this one go.
Yeah, but Jordan's got to catch that ball. You can see it. It's one of those where if you're the quarterback, Mayfield, you want to put that ball in his back hip, particularly if there's a guy defender in front of him, which there was. You've got to be able to catch that, Smallwood. That's a big miss.
McCleskey is back deep at midfield and calls for the fair catch off the boot of 37 yards. More solid, and I do mean solid, field position for Oklahoma State. Let's get back to Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, Wisconsin and Penn State for the Big Ten Championship, a preview from Indy, how Virginia Tech could upset Clemson, plus highlights of Navy still in contention for a New Year's 6 bowl bid. West at the half, but right now, Tim and Spencer, back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you. Yes, let's just say that all of college football's postseason could be a debate at the conclusion of tonight.
Gnashing of teeth?
Yes, anger, angst, bitterness. Oh, my. Plenty of it. Justice Hill is in the backfield out of the gun. Rudolph hands it to him. And he cuts it back in, maybe only a yard, perhaps 2. Stephen Parker, number 10, making the tackle, the junior from Jenks High School, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I think Mike Stoops has settled in. He's figured out exactly how he wants to approach this. Stephen Parker, the strong safety, paying off the move, the tweak, what they're doing defensively.
Rudolph, his receiver slipped. Yep. Washington, as he was trying to make his cut, slipped. Jordan Thomas actually had the best look at it, and it fell incomplete.
Yeah, during this steady downpour versus soft coverage, respecting his speed, you can see he cuts on that outside foot, trying to turn the opposite direction, and just loses his footing.
Rudolph is 3 out of 10 for 53 yards. The big one, of course, to Washington moments ago. 3rd down and 8 here. His tight end, Blake Jarwin, is now moved into the H-back position in the slot to the top of your screen.
I like Washington doing this.
He goes to Chris Lacey, who has been an outstanding receiver of late. A big-time, big playmaker. 9 yards and a first down for the junior from DeSoto, Texas.
Yeah, they got it on the out route, just a simple catch, and that's a nice next-level catch there over the shoulder. Nice pitch and catch.
From the 39, Carson again. He gets better with time. He's one of those guys, just feed and fanning. Give him like 25 to 30 carries. He only gets better. Jordan Parker knocked him out. That's 12 yards and another first down.
There's an old country song like yesterday's wine, get better with time, and he's exactly that. When you feed it to him late, he gets stronger, gets more tenacious, and hell-bent on scoring. What a talent to watch.
Zach Veach has come in now, number 86, in that backfield, along with Justice Hill. And he will lead Justice. Boom. Yards after contact. And another first down. Just shy of the 15 of OU. Ahmad Thomas again will be credited with a tackle, but that's 12 more yards.
There's a lot of stuff going on in this play. Justice was patient, ends up running in the back of one of his own men that's trying to make a block outside, but you saw the combination of speed and the ability to finish a run by Justice Hill.
Oh boy, he just lost it. He had the zone read working. Okoronkwo came in to cover him up, but Rudolph just dropped the ball there after the read.
Yeah, Will Sullivan was there to jump and pounce on it, but again, the ball is slick out there. Mason's got to do a better job of handling it.
2nd and 12.
A little late substitution. I'm going to call a timeout on this.
Gundy was thinking about
better
it,
snap this ball because they've got a wide open opportunity on the short post.
Yeah, Gundy had that one sized up. The man with the mullet. And that's Baker Mayfield that loves it.
This is rushing yards.
17-10 our score with 1:28 remaining here in the second quarter. Right now, the combination of Carson and Hill are topping the highly touted running backs of Pirine and Mixon. Combined, Carson and Hill with 154 to only 29 yards for Samaje and Mixon. The big plays for Oklahoma, Spencer, had been coming from Mayfield and Dede Westbrook. And I know Bruce will be busy at halftime trying to find out what he can, but one must think that concussion protocol is underway with Dede.
No doubt about it.
Mixon is waiting on the kick from Amendola. Ahead to the 24, maybe the 25-yard line. Cowboys just took the lead, and this once one-sided rivalry is no more. In the last 5 games, OU's outscored them by only 10 points. By the way, you wouldn't want to look at the scoring margin back in 1904, 1905, 1906. First 8 meetings, it was 240-0. But back when it was Oklahoma A&M and Oklahoma was not a state, it was a territory.
Well, fortunately, millennials don't care about what happened in the past. They care about what's happening right now. And I'm telling you, as we said at the top of the show, what makes this a rivalry is the stat that EB just pointed up there for you, our producer. This is a different context right now. This team believes, Oklahoma State, that they can compete your place or mine. That's why it's a rivalry.
1st and 10 for Mayfield. Looking to get vertical again. Goes with the shallow cross. It's Mixon coming out of the backfield. Tripped up by Justin Phillips, who's had a whale of a first half. And he's slow to get up as they set up shop at the 31-yard line after a gain of 7. 2nd and 3.
2 of your 3 key guns, both at the receiver and running back position, have now out of the game and off the field for the Sooners.
Pirine. Well, that's more like it. Run game that has to be effective for both of these teams.
Well, on the Mixon play, it was really just an option route where the back is coming out of the backfield. He beats the defender, but you can see that ankle gets rolled up on.
Yeah, it does right there.
It gets rolled up on in that previous play. It's that right ankle.
12 yards on that last play. So the ball is at the 43, first down.
A lot of times when backs are running in space like that, you're extended and have that leg out there, and the dead weight of a defender falls on it. Well, that's a tough spot to be in. Just a 3-man rush.
Mayfield flush from the pocket, looking for help, and he finds it. It's Jeffrey Mead. Gosh, he is so good when out of the pocket, and his receivers come back to help him. Mead played the role of Dede Westbrook right there.
His 3 biggest plays have come on similar plays, whether it was Trey Flowers or Dede Westbrook. You can see this is the latest when Kenneth Magruder Edison was the one that broke the coverage and was able to recover enough before the big play.
Here's Pirine. And he's dumped inside the 10. Huge drive here for Oklahoma to answer prior to the intermission. Jordan Stearns made that stop.
You're watching some old school football right now, because at the score as tight as it is, these coaches, particularly the offensive coordinators, Lincoln Riley for Oklahoma, is keeping some plays in his back pocket and exploiting them when he needs to. Here's the play again. You can see versus a three-man rush. This is what Baker does exceptionally well. Averett is coming, but a little bit too late before that ball is out of there. Another significant game off of a broken play and an athletic quarterback able to convert.
But I know Glenn Spencer, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma State, Spencer is thinking, all right, listen, if Mayfield is going to make some of those plays, we will handle that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's what we do here in the red zone that matters most. And we go back to influential plays of the first half. The drop by Mixon in the end zone is a huge play.
And there's Glenn Spencer right there. He's one of the best in the business. And Timmy, he knows this. When the further you get down in the red area, everything compresses. And typically, about a third of your plays are going to go out your playbook, so it's going to help him.
Coming up, it's the State Farm Halftime Show with Mike Hill, Matt Leinart, and Brady Quinn. Brady the Mighty Quinn made his way back from Santa Clara last night to be in the studio.
He's working that plaid today like he was yesterday. He's looking, he's a clothes horse, man. That's a good looking kid.
Well, Rob Stone and a few others have made their way to the Big Ten championship for tonight on Fox. Mayfield over the middle. That is a touchdown. Geno Lewis. His second of the day.
You can see Geno out here in the tandem match. He slows down just enough to beat Averett, I think, who's trying to defend him there. And he works inside against what looks like man coverage with maybe a little zone over the top. It's a nice pitch and catch there.
His second touchdown of the year. He had one earlier that was called back, you might recall. So his first touchdown reception of the day. But he's been playing big of late. Youngster from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Graduate transfer from Penn State. Right now, he says, we are Sooners. It's been bedlam and then some. Here in the first half, we're tied at 17, 27 seconds remaining. As Oklahoma has answered the Cowboys, who had 14 unanswered, to take the lead. And it's Geno Lewis on the receiving end of that touchdown. Seibert will kick it away. Barry Sanders Jr. is back deep. This time he'll field it at the 2. Could you say wake up the echoes? Wow. Barry Sanders gets it to midfield. And now the Cowboys, with one timeout remaining, are in business to maybe make a run here.
This is how you return. You slow and you wait for that funnel effect to happen, and then it's north and south. Speed and quickness. The stout build of Barry Sanders just does a nice job of ripping through the rookie tacklers. Look, that's 1, 2, 3, and 5 additional yards after that last effort there by Sanders. What a nice return.
It was Austin Seibert that saved the day, the kicker with the tackle. The ball now at midfield, and with one timeout, they've got some room to work with here and a little bit of time to boot. Carson is in the backfield. Washington, the big play receiver, at the bottom of your screen. And they go with a delay to Carson. High hurdling and down at the 45-yard line. Thomas makes the stop. That will force their hand a bit. Just a gain of 5. And it looks as though they're just going to run it out. I'm surprised by that. They had a timeout in their hip pocket. Chose not to use it.
Very un-Cowboy-like.
Yeah. I believe some of the Cowboy faithful weren't particularly pleased with that decision either. Thought they'd at least take a look downfield, right?
Is she scary?
I thought this is the Big 12. We're going the distance, right? We're tied at 17 at halftime right now. Let's send you to Mike Hill in Los Angeles. I'll let you run with it.
And Lisa Hale.
The Galleria of Jewelry. And Bedlam, the reality series starring Spencer Tillman, will be soon available to you on many of our Fox affiliates around the country. That was well done.
Well, thank you, sir.
Our guy Brian Biederman Spielberg did a wonderful job on that.
Indeed.
Listen, I have to ask you, we talked about mirror images in the open of the show. These two teams have the same points, but they haven't done it the same way in the first half.
Great take, Timmy. How they built their success is totally different. Certainly, Justice Hill, the outstanding running back up the road from Tulsa, did a fantastic job with 92 yards rushing on 10 plays. And then Rudolph called his own plays a couple of times after Carson helped in and stepped in on the ground game. So number 2, showing you he can do more than just manage the game from an efficiency standpoint. Oklahoma, meantime, of their 279 total yards, 178 of them came on open plays down the field. Credit Lincoln Riley, offensive coordinator, doing a great job with these design plays, but those plays require the players to step up with some individual effort on the back end. And unfortunately for the Sooners, they're going to have to do much of their damage shorthanded in the second half. You can see the numbers. Oklahoma, 3 plays, had them in this contest.
Well, there are the Verizon first half stats. That yardage on the ground was immense. It came early and late. Oklahoma defensively had solved the problem latter stages of the first quarter going into the second. Sooners do get the ball to start the second half. They won the toss and deferred. So Matt Amendola will be kicking it away for the Cowboys, and Joe Mixon is back deep for Oklahoma. Mixon from the 3. And he's ahead to the 19-yard line. And with the latest on D.D. Westbrook's status and talking with both coaches, here's Bruce Feldman.
Yeah, Tim, big news. D.D. Westbrook, the star receiver, he's done for the day. Bob Stoops told me the biggest thing he said is we got to run the ball better, and everybody else is going to have to pick it up, and we got to find a way to make some stops on defense and do a better job at fitting the ball and fitting the blocks. On the other side of the ball, Mike Gundy, frustrated with his defense. We got to contain Baker Mayfield. That's what he's good at when he gets outside the pocket, and he is killing us.
He has done that, but frankly, their defense against those 2 backs, Spencer, has been exemplary.
Well, it really has been exemplary. And again, I think that defines a coordinator's mindset. You go into a game saying, what do we have to take away? You know you're not going to totally shut them down, these 2 mirror image teams, but I think they've done a great job of limiting the production on the ground.
That's Samaje Perine, and look at him go on the opening play of the half. .66 yards, and it's Jordan Stearns, number 13, that saved the touchdown.
Big plays, big days, Tim. It's what it's about. Sooners are going to need it.
He now has 101 yards on the day after that jaunt of 66. Both now are in the backfield. Mixon joins Perine. And there goes Baker Mayfield on the read. And he gets it to the 10. Ashton Lampkin makes the stop for Oklahoma State.
Great players sense when they're being called upon to make outstanding plays. Part of what you're seeing here is a result of halftime adjustments. But the other part of it is just sheer passion by a player that understands one of the other complementary points and parts of this offense is down, and that's D.D. Westbrook. So Perine says, I've got to answer. Stepping up big time.
Perine comes back onto the field. Dimitri Flowers, the fullback, is out there with him. Out of the gun. Perine down to the 6. 242 of the 343 yards for Oklahoma have come on 4 plays. We touched on the 3 at halftime that put them in position to score. And that last one from Perine was the first really on the ground.
In a rivalry matchup, how you build your success is irrelevant. You just got to have more points when 60 is up.
Mayfield. Marker's down, and so is he at the 6. And that looks like Mote Miley may have been guilty of the face mask. So a tough break on a 3rd down play for the Cowboys defensively. That's the preliminary indication we get.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Male's the guy that they got. You can see number 90 from Euless, Texas. He's got that hand out there, that left hand, and grabs the cage of Mayfield.
Well, he didn't get it by much.
No, he didn't, but the head moved. The head moved, and that's enough for the official to make that call.
1st and goal for Oklahoma. Perine in the backfield. Smallwood in motion. Pirine down to the 1.
Or Trey Flowers was there in this strong safety position. If he's not, Pirine's in for the score.
You may recall Oklahoma was down here early in the game. Mixon dropped a pass that was right in his hands. They had another opportunity with a penalty, an offensive pass interference penalty on a pick by D.D. Westbrook. So some opportunities missed in the red zone, really by both of these teams. Mixon and Pirine are the setbacks. It's Pirine. Cowboys were ready that time, and Jordan Stearns, who saved the touchdown moments ago, comes up to help. Jarrell Owens, number 93, was also there, the redshirt sophomore.
Well, you're playing in the phone booth here so close to the line of scrimmage. You can see Stearns stuck his nose in there. And from a safety, you're not quite sure sometimes if they're willing to engage. He sold out to Stearns on that play. That's a nice job of playing green zone inside the 5-yard line defense.
That's a big, big play here for both teams. Early in the second half in Bedlam. Pirine has now moved into the Wildcat. He got it in. It's a touchdown. His 11th touchdown this year.
Tim, that's just lining up and saying my big guy is going to beat your big guy. Ramon Richards was in there at the cornerback position, stepped up, but Pirine took the direct snap, got a nice block from Flowers, his fullback, and stuck his nose in there to get the Sooners back on the board in the second half of the first strike.
Seibert for the extra point. Just got it through that left upright. Samaje Pirine, 66 yards on one play. In total, 6 plays, 81 yards. They deferred. They got the ball to open the second half, and it's game on. The home team looking for its 9th win in a row and an undefeated Big 12 season. Fox College Football, presented by Jared, is sponsored by Verizon. It's always a great gift on Verizon. By Coca-Cola, taste the feeling. And by Hyundai. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, Bruce Feldman. It is a rivalry game, and right after the last touchdown, Baker Mayfield, your team leader, says...
reminded him whose house it is.
It's his house.
Yeah. Get the heck out of here, right? Or something like that.
I love it. It's a rivalry game, man.
He wants someone to know you don't write a check your mouth can't cash. You come talking to us and Sooner territory.
Barry Sanders is awaiting, and he's going to bring it out. Last time he took it to the 50 before the end of the first half. This time he's undercut at the 20-yard line. Outstanding defensive work that time on special teams.
It was Jeffrey Meade that came in there and cut him up, number 15. Nice special teams tackle.
And Mason Rudolph, you think about it, the last time he was in the game, he gave Oklahoma State a 17-10 lead. They haven't touched the ball.
Yep.
Offensively, really, listen, he was in there and handed off one play. But in terms of getting a drive started, his last meaningful touch was on the way to a touchdown to take the lead. Oklahoma had 40 total yards in one quarter running the football. The Sooners now 3:15
Nice little blitz off the edge.
And there's a little out pattern to Seals.
Wow.
Incomplete.
Jawan Seals, number 81, that inside receiver was working outside on that one. Again, here we've seen this 3 times today. Ball hits him squarely in the numbers, and Seals drops it. Wow.
And I don't know that the element, I think they've improved, Spencer, since the first half. It's been a consistent rain, and I know the ball is slippery. Not much wind to speak of. That usually wreaks more havoc than the wet stuff. Justice Hill is the setback, 2nd and 10. Beach and Jarwin are in there. And they lead the way for Hill, and it's nothing doing. Obo, Okoronkwo, and Emmanuel Beal both involved that time.
Bill and Obo did a nice job of anchoring. Watch the leverage that they play with. Keeping that head on the outside, understanding that he has containment. He's got one guy to work with him on the inside. He releases, despite the fact that he's got an anchor. That's excellent defensive play by Obo on the edge.
3rd and 9. Seals has gone flank to the top of your screen. Chris Carson is the setback.
Rudolph, plenty of time.
Shooting it for McCluskey, incomplete. He kept the play alive long enough, but it'll be a punt formation coming up for Oklahoma State.
Rudolph amongst confused by the coverage that Mike Stoops is throwing at him. Nice job at his defensive line rushing there as well. And you look at the way this coverage is being mixed up by Mike Stoops. I think Rudolph is having a tough time discerning exactly what they're doing. Nice combination man zone cover scheme.
Well, he's only 5 of 14 for 74 yards in the air. Rudolph. Mixon is back deep. Signer to punt it away.
Low liner.
Yep. He's going to have to let that one go. Yeah, he's got to let that one go. That was trouble with a capital T if he had tried to field it. So 59 yards, a healthy bounce off the low trajectory punt. It's his house, and he wants you to get the out of here. We'll be back with more of Bedlam after this. Fox College Football presented by Jared is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly. Magnificent setting here. All the years I've been in this business, Spencer, this is my first Bedlam, and it is living up to all my expectations.
Well, welcome to Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma in particular. And I was talking with Brett Bender just a minute ago about the origins of the term Sooner.
Our spotter, Brett Bender.
Right. When the Oklahoma land run was officiated, the people that went out the night before legally were called Sooners, and they actually were cheaters. So when you hear that, or opportunists if you prefer.
Yeah,
I prefer
or me and math. Here's Pirine going towards the boundary. That's well defended. Ramon Richards and Cole Walterscheid collaborate on the stop. We're relying on you for everything Sooner while we're here. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm able, willing to provide.
Baker Mayfield without D.D. Westbrook for the rest of the game. For those of you that just joined us, he was hit and concussion symptoms and protocol is underway with him. So he will not be a factor here in the second half. So Pirine and Mixon, steady diet of them, one would suspect. That's Nick Basquin, 83, the intended receiver. Flag does come down, but is quickly picked up. And we'll have a conversation over this one, apparently. The back judge threw the flag.
Pass interference. Defense number 40. Spot foul. Automatic first down.
And that's, you know, Mike Gundy's a little upset about that one. Devontae Averett is the guilty party here.
Yeah, number 40 sticks that hand in there, but it's the left hand that we don't see from that particular
right.
There you see it release late. He does have that hand, does number 40, Averett, on that other side. You can see it. Yep, I think it was a good call. Good call.
Is holding on the defense. That'll be a 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Well, now he's really upset about that. The additional yardage really upsets Gundy with holding.
And you rarely see him show that level of emotion. He's one of the most consistent personalities, but you know, you wonder. Number 40, Averett, he's the captain in that interior defense for Glenn Spencer at linebacker.
He is a junior college transfer that's played so big for them. Had a great game against TCU. Unbeaten as an amateur boxer as a child, and is.
Well, he was trying the sweet science there
Yeah,
too with that left hand. Just got caught with it.
Samaje Pirine again in the backfield. It's 1st and 10. They were ready for that. Great penetration.
Jordan Stearns, man, stuck his nose in the number 13. He just, I'm telling you, they're so instinctive in terms of how their run fits are created. You see any open space or void, it's quickly filled by a white jersey. That's how you play, or that is what's called integrity. Everyone meeting your run fit responsibility. That's fine defensive play there.
Loss of a yard. It's 2nd down and 11, and Pirine is injured. They're tending to him.
You know, Samaje's had a various sundry injuries from ankles to knees.
Yeah. Throughout his career, really.
Yep.
All kinds of time. Mayfield ad-libs again, and it's dropped. A.D. Miller, number 13, the sophomore from Bishop Dunn in Dallas, dropped that one right between the 1 and the 3.
Well, and I was going to say before that play, this is the kind of a situation with the lead. I would be shocked if Oklahoma tries to speed this up. Again, another drop. Players get lax. They let the ball climb on them and hit them in the chest. Pluck it out of the air. And if you want to be forgiving, stick those arms out there. And if it's coming too hot like it was on that play, that cushion that you're going to provide doesn't allow the tip of that ball to slap you in the chest like that. That's where players get in trouble. It's hard from the depth perception to understand how fast the ball is coming at you.
3rd and 11. Geno Lewis is in the slot. Look out for him. He's been the chain mover today in the passing game. There he is. Move the chains. That's the first down out to the 42.
Yeah, Kenneth Magruder Edison defending on that play. Again, just man coverage. And you can see Baker with just a 3-man rush, actually 4-man, including the linebacker, finds a nice job of sorting that ball through the zone coverage for completion.
I suspect we'll be seeing number 5 targeted a lot more, Spence, in the passing game with Westbrook out. 1st and 10. Mixon. Well, you get that one look, and if you miss in space, it's going to cost you. That time, Stearns could not come up with him in space.
Yeah, Jordan Stearns comes up, number 13, but again, that little hesitation move there by an elite running back, wounded as he may be, gets in there for plus yards.
9 yards, and another yard is needed for that first down, and he'll just get back to the line of scrimmage this time.
Nice job by the collective Oklahoma State defense for turning that play back inside and limiting the damage.
Walterscheid, Mote Miley, Vincent Taylor have all played big today, as you see P. Ryan making his way back onto the field.
Well, there's no mistake about it. The big plays that are going to be required from these running backs, given the fact that D.D. Westbrook is out of this contest, is going to be the deciding factor for Oklahoma. That I'm convinced because of the previous drops.
It looks like it slowed them down too.
Yeah, it did. That they want that. That's intentional.
Out pattern, and there he is again, Geno Lewis. To the 43-yard line of Oklahoma State, a first down. It's Trey Flowers that brings him down.
Lincoln Riley, when you get soft coverage, you see how much of a cushion is there. That's like stealing. A nice little out cut, expecting the coverage, whether it's zone or man in that particular situation, is an easy pitch and catch. Oklahoma resigned to move the ball methodically down the field, mixing up the run. Lincoln Riley has a nice opportunity with the lead here to control this game. He wants the clock to burn and tick and keep the edge.
2 for 2 on third down conversions in this drive. There goes Baker Mayfield, and he quickly slides down shy of the first down. I think they'll give him the 37-yard line as he gave the deck.
Yeah, he gave himself up just a little bit before that marker, in my opinion. But again, I think the beauty of that play was the long ride and mesh to sell that. Baker sold it about as long as he possibly could before he pulled it out and called his own number.
2nd and 4. P. Ryan in the backfield. Stretch play to Samaje. He cuts it back in for the first down. All the way to the 26. Averett and Widener.
Timmy, this is the kind of spread version of the student body. Everybody's reaching. It's almost like a zone play where the linemen are moving to their left, not necessarily working up to that next level to get a linebacker, but whoever shows up in that zone is the person they're going to block. That's a nice power play to the left for Oklahoma. They're resigned to run the football and physically beat up this Glenn Spencer defense.
Flowers is checked in now, fullback 36. He's played some tailback. In fact, in the Iowa State game, P. Ryan was hurt. And Mixon was out, could not play, and he had to play the tailback position, went for over 100 yards. Vincent Taylor gets P. Ryan that time. Burton also involved.
We call it burping him. Taylor did a nice job of burping him on that play. I know as a grandpa, you've been doing a lot of that lately, haven't you, with Wilmer Scarlett? I mean, he sat there and waited on him and popped him, boy, when he came backside.
You never know when those burps will come, by the way. I'd forgotten. 2nd and 10. Play fake, Mayfield. Well done to Jordan Smallwood. Yet another first down. This has been a methodical, old-school drive by Oklahoma.
I don't know if that ball came out of his hand really nicely, but in looking at it again, it was actually okay. But the fact that he had plenty of time and they're moving the pocket as Lincoln Riley to allow his quarterback to make plays in space and improvise, this is exactly the type of script that they want to follow right now.
And they're taking up so much time on the clock.
That's the design.
They are milking the play clock and the game clock here in the third quarter. Flowers remains in the game in the backfield along with P-Rod. Samaje, boy, they are popping, aren't they? You can hear it all the way up here at the 13-yard line. Chad Whitener and Jordan Stearns collectively get the job done.
Looks like there's a timeout on the field by the officials.
Brings up 2nd and 8 from the 13.
I think they wanted to take some time with the ball and dry it off. Look at that in the second half now, 106 yards. Of course, 66 of that came on one run to open the half by Samaje Perine. But they've been methodical with the short passing game. And with Westbrook, your big playmaker, out of there, it makes all the sense in the world to go this way. And it shows you the versatility that Lincoln Riley has.
This is surgery that Lincoln Riley is performing on this drive right here. He's a coordinator with a nice script in his hand.
2nd and 7. Mayfield's got a lot of room and a lot of time. And a touchdown. That's Mixon. First to hug him is D.D. Westbrook.
First of all, it's the amount of time that number 6 Mayfield has available to him. Great protection up front, improvisation. Again, one of his elite backs finds himself in a position where he's able to make an improvised play to find open. That's the 4th play of that sort that we've seen. Oklahoma has scored on 3 of them.
Austin Seibert, one of 6 kickers at the FBS level that handles both punting, kicking, place kicking. It's a lost art to do it all. A 13-play drive. Surgical procedure being performed by Baker Mayfield with the help of Lincoln Riley, an intellectual property that's going to help OU for a long time. Fox College Football is sponsored by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, Bruce Feldman. Third quarter has been all Oklahoma. That drive, 6:24. You don't see that length in this league that often. Mixon with a 12-yard touchdown catch, and Seibert to boot it away. Dan Sanders again is back deep. From the goal line, he juggled it a little, and it ultimately hurt a lot. A fired up Sooner group. Chance Sylvie there to make the tackle. Oklahoma going for its 10th Big 12 title in the last 17 years under Bob Stoops. No other school has more than 2 Big 12 titles since Stoopsy arrived in 1999. Here is a quick look at our Big 12 standings, sponsored by Sonic, an official sponsor of the Big 12 Conference. Sooners going for its first undefeated Big 12 season in 12 years. They also went undefeated 2000, 2003, and 4 under Stoops. Justice Hill in the backfield for Oklahoma State. Very important drive here for the Cowboys to answer after falling behind by 2 touchdowns. Looking long, that's Seals. He's got it. And he's down inside the 35-yard line. Jordan Parker makes the stop, and we've got an injured Sooner.
Well, you can see Seals splits that cover 2 deep safeties. And again, that's the weakest part of the field. If you've got 2 deep safeties, it's in the middle. You usually look for the tight end or an ex-receiver coming over. Nice pass, a lot of air thrown underneath it for Seals to get underneath it and convert the completion.
And Spencer, I think it's the back of that helmet, the way Parker hit the ground, that is going to be the issue here for him. We talked about it before when Westbrook was knocked out of the game, it wasn't for the hit. It was not the hit. It was the helmet hitting the ground, the second part of it. And there you see that flush hit, and the right arm was also trapped. There's concern, I think, in both areas, both the limb and the back of his head, the way he hit. I mean, he's trying to save a touchdown at that point.
Well, he's sacrificing his body, as all these guys do, particularly on the back end. And when you're running at full speed and you hit the ground like that in that limp lay position, I'm telling you, the impact is compounded, Timmy, and it's a tough one to get back up from that immediately.
So for the moment, our concern is for Jordan. We'll take a quick break. Well, the good news is that Jordan Parker is at least halfway up. Freshman from Pittsburgh, California. We'll take another look at that play. And the impact that I noticed in real time was when making the tackle, how his head hit flush on the field, but his arm was also tied up.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, Tim. I mean, this is not, our crew is doing a tremendous job of giving us the angles that they have, but I can tell you from experience, unfortunately, when you back of your head hits that turf, it is very easy to get that concussed reaction immediately. I'm not making any diagnosis whatsoever, but that appeared to be what the situation is, because his limbs look like they're operative and moving quite well, actually.
That was a 54-yard connection, by the way. Rudolph had only hit for 74 yards on 5 passes and 14 tries, and that was as big a play in the passing game as he's had all day. So 1st and 10 as the Cowboys try to answer Oklahoma's 2 touchdowns already here in the 3rd. Out of the shotgun, it's Justice Hill, and nothing doing. Oklahoma was ready for that. DJ Ward, number 87, redshirt junior from nearby Moore, Oklahoma, just outside this area was Moore, of course, where Coach Stoops makes his home. 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Ward's got nice size at that defensive end position where he plays. It's about 6'2", 265, a little bit smaller than what you typically would see, but they give him the latitude to work outside as well.
Little pump fake from Rudolph. And on the check down, he airmails it, intended for Jawan Seals. He was there, but he rushed it and overthrew him.
And there was really no need to rush that ball because the protection was great. And one of the things we talk about Mason Rudolph, what makes his suite of talent really, really good is because he makes quality decisions, not so much on that last play.
You know, you look at his numbers today, and Mike Stoops' defense has confused him some in the passing game. Only 6 of 16. Carson is checked in on 3rd and 10. That's Seals. And he's got it. And he stretched as much as he could to bring that one in. That's a heck of a catch by number 81, the senior from Port Arthur.
Ahmad Thomas, number 13, the free safety, was defending on that play, but well thrown. It looked like it took a while to get there, but it was complete. That's all that matters.
Carson going towards the boundary is hammered by DJ Ward again, number 87.
And maybe there's a question that was a catch or not, but you get the play off, and that really, the nose of that ball hits the ground, and he helps him certainly seat the ball.
Too late now, boys.
Wow, that's a done deal. Great strategy in getting tempo and getting that next play off.
2nd and 10. Washington is flanked to the bottom of your screen, 28. Rudolph with an opening, and he gets it down to the 8-yard line. Emmanuel Beal wraps him up, number 14.
Boy, Rudolph was so instinctive on that play. Again, he had an end screaming on his left side. The peripheral vision allowed him to see it quickly, and he turned that down and pulled it and ran with it very, very quickly.
Spencer, this guy has not been used today. Only one time have we seen him catch a pass, only targeted the one time. He's been money in 50-50 ball situations. That's Lacey, Chris Lacey, at the top of your screen. He's got man coverage.
Well, fortunately, he's on the short side of the field. They're going to have to do a switch route if they're going to make it work. He needs protection and a laser throw.
Rudolph. Not enough time. Ogbiona Okoronkwo on top of him. Just call him Obo. And that's a big-time sack, and it'll force a field goal.
The route was there, but Obo was what disrupted that play. Again, it's the penetration off the outside, the nice dip of the shoulder and the rip to get that right arm through. Just a tremendous job of ripping through Victor Salako there at that opposite position.
30-yard field goal try coming for Grogan. You know, Lacey, in those situations in past games that we've had, and we've seen Oklahoma State 2 times this year, they would throw the fade pattern or the post corner to him time and time again. Not today. Grogan gets it through. So Oklahoma State gets a big play in the passing game, but alas, oh no, it's Obo. 31-20, Oklahoma State responds with a field goal after surrendering 2 touchdowns to open the second half. Oklahoma very impressive when you think that they've done this without their big-time playmaker D.D. Westbrook available to them after going through concussion protocol.
And the injuries were mounting, even extending to the running back position with Piron coming out. Again, your point of the surgical process that Lincoln Riley, the offensive coordinator, took this unit through, and unfortunately, because they've not been able to catch the ball well, OSU had to resign to a similar strategy. Unfortunately, they don't want time to run off the clock, but that's the only way they could move the ball down the field. Came up short as it was with 3 points.
Bottom line is, if you're not going to get as many possessions, your defense is on the clock on this series. You had better perform admirably here. This is Mixon from the 10 after a short kick. Another outstanding return by Mixon, 22 yards. And let's go down with Bruce Feldman, who's got more on Obo.
Yeah, Tim, Obo was actually an Oklahoma State recruit and then decommitted and ended up at OU, and he's really blossomed this year, Bob Stoops was telling us. And he gave him actually the ultimate compliment you could have. He said he's got a motor like Eric Stryker, who was the former pass rushing star for the Sooners. And they said just really has matured a lot. The lights come on for him. Mike Stoops pointed out, he goes, you know what? He didn't always do the right thing, and he's lucky he's still here. And then he thought about it, he goes, you know what? We're lucky he's still here, too.
Stryker, you might recall, dominated this game last year. A big second quarter that opened the game up when the game was played in Stillwater. But Eric had an incredible game in that second half, and there goes Piron again. Talk about surgical procedure. I mean, that was just a fine art of cutting between the 2 and 3 gaps there.
Yeah, just serpentining, just working in, taking advantage of those nice blocks. That was Ben Powers, number 72, that cleared it. And then Rick Wren made the nice move at the center position to free him up to let Piron get to that 3rd level. And he showed you his speed and power to finish on that play.
Yeah, we should credit much of this offensive line. Piron now with 106 yards just in this quarter alone. Gets a lot more with his second surge there to the 45-yard line of Oklahoma State. Walter Scheid and Mote Maile making the stop. Wren at center.
Yep.
Ben Powers, Orlando Brown on that left side have been very effective. Bobby Evans, the right tackle, is a freshman. Number 71, they have played big in this quarter and really altered their style of play to the loss of one of their big-time playmakers in Westbrook. Going for yet another championship in the Big 12 Conference. And for Bob Stoops, it would be number 10. He's only lost 9 at home in his career. He had more titles than he has losses at home. College football is sponsored by Jared, the Gallery of Jewelry. See the scoring by quarter. Oklahoma, nice choice to defer on winning the toss and electing to receive in the second half, outscoring Oklahoma State 14-3. Those are the first 2 games against Oklahoma State. Today, another epic performance, 145 and counting. He has loved himself some bedlam.
Big plays, big days. The great ones step up when they're called.
One more time, Piron laying the lumber to Stearns. That's very similar to the kind of run we saw from Carson earlier. And you see Stearns slow to get up.
Take a listen.
That's intentionality. 23 carries, 154 yards.
Well, P. Ryan will make you change your mind, and as he did number 13 there. And Jordan Stern, he just ran over, was a tough customer.
Yeah, that's one of your big-time tough customers. One of the really outstanding safeties, not just in this league, but in the country.
Here's another look-see. Oh, and that was a unintentional, but helmet-to-helmet pop there. Wow.
1st and 10 with the ball at the 36-yard line of the Cowboys. P. Ryan trying to put the finishing touches on this puppy. Wagner shoves him out of bounds.
Kenneth Magruder Edison, number 3, made the mistake of trying to hit P. Ryan around his thighs. Timmy, wasn't going to work. You see that? That little shoulder top isn't going to make a difference to P. Ryan.
You went all Frank Broyles on that one. Look at the thighs on him, Keith. Oh, my.
Oh, good Lord.
Ball is at the 15. P. Ryan remains in the game. Down at the bottom of your screen is Jordan Smallwood, 17. Well, just keep giving it to him. P. Ryan stopped by Cole Walterscheid that time, the redshirt sophomore.
P. Ryan showing another part of his game as the game wears on, his ability to step out of arm tackles. We know he's powerful, run with his feet close to the ground, but when you are getting into the waning moments of a game and you sense the end, the ability to pick your feet up quickly.
Yep. Got a marker up at the top at the 13-yard line. I just noticed it, a late flag, so Brad Van Vark's got the details.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 78. That'll be a 15-yard penalty. It'll be 2nd down. That's number 78's first unsportsmanlike of the game.
Not a wise choice by Orlando Brown.
Yeah, but they like him because he's nasty.
He is nasty.
He's nasty, and that's exactly what Lincoln Riley likes. Not so much getting the penalty there, and Bob Stoops certainly doesn't like it either. Doesn't meet his approval. But sometimes if you're playing that left tackle position, the most important in terms of protection on that offensive line, you've got to have a little bit of an edge to you. He plays that position for Bob Stoops like a defensive player. He's an offensive guy with a defensive player's mindset.
I think Bob is smelling the kill here, and now you're backed up, and a big-time negative play makes it 2nd and 20. Again, Smallwood flanked to the bottom of your screen. Mead to the top. P. Ryan on the stretch. Ball is on the loose. Wow. It's loose. Oklahoma State's got it. And P. Ryan is down. It's Kenneth Edison Magruder on top of the football. He got the recovery, number 3, the free safety.
How ironic of that. Kenneth Magruder Edison is the guy who got boat raced just a couple of plays ago by P. Ryan.
What a turn of events.
Boy, from play to play, each player brings a memory of the previous, and it makes a difference.
Let me tell you something. I mean, at the moment P. Ryan got the ball down to the 15-yard line, they were smelling putting this one away. Then comes the unsportsmanlike, followed by a fumble, and it's a rivalry game, ladies and gentlemen. It is not over. Justin Phillips got it free, and Kenneth Edison Magruder on top of it. Cowboys remain alive in Bedlam 2016. Fox College Football presented by Jared is sponsored by State Farm, here to help life go right. By Cadillac. And by T-Mobile. Switch to the network built for unlimited data. Samaje Perine being taken to the locker room. Justice Hill is checked in after Oklahoma State has the football on the turnover and remains in touch with Oklahoma here in Bedlam. Ahead to the 25-yard line goes Justice Hill, the freshman from Tulsa's Booker T. Washington High School, as you see Perine getting some assistance to the locker room. We have another injury timeout as you see number 95 Austin Roberts holding his midsection. Gain of 7 on that last play, so 2nd and 3 coming up.
In a relatively short window, we've seen 3 or 4 players go down, man. I'm telling you, if you don't think this game is for the faint of heart, it's not. This is a big boy game.
And it's for a championship in the Big 12. And we've got a whistle pre-snap. Timeout, Oklahoma.
Timeout, Oklahoma.
Mason Rudolph, you got to figure, has some big plays left in him, and we got a lot of time remaining. (31-20) our score. Spencer, I know it's a numbers game in a lot of ways, and as you like to say, we live in a world of images and impressions. Yeah. The Big 12 is known as a finesse league. Where's the defense? You can give up yards, but the physicality out here today is second to none.
Samaje Perine has 187 rushing yards today, and he has earned every bit of them. He now has 3,984 for his career. That moves him past Quentin Griffin for number 5. And again, just to underscore how physical, in a kind of a 4.5-minute span, we saw 4 different players get taken off the field for various sundry reasons. And again, it just speaks to the physical nature of this game, particularly in the Bedlam series.
On first down, here's Hill. And he's stopped behind the line of scrimmage by Okoronkwo. Obo's been all over the place here in the second half.
You have to wonder at some point in time on the read option, if they're keeping players home and working with a single safety look, that means more bodies around the line of scrimmage. At some point, you got to take a shot down the way, even though you got 12:25 left.
Again, I go back to Lacey. Where's Chris Lacey in this offense today for Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma's back with 2 safeties. You see these 2 guys back here. That means you've got to pass on us.
Play fake. Rudolph. Marker's down. He throws it for McCleskey, and he throws it behind him, incomplete. Thrown in an area, this marker, that you would think holding.
Holding, offense number 60. That penalty will be declined, brings up 3rd down.
Well, the right tackle's trying to make plays, and again, it's really tough when you're sitting out here, particularly with the wide 7 technique, a smaller guy working underneath that's able to create a 2-way go for himself. It's scary for a tackle to be out on an island like that with the 2-way go with a guy who you weigh less than 60 pounds less than you do.
They decide to take the down rather than the yardage, Oklahoma. 3rd and 10. Carson in the backfield, and Rudolph lets it fly, and that is Blake Jarwin, and the burly tight end races for the punt. He got to the sticks. He may be just a little short by about a half yard, but certainly in go-for-it range if they determine that 4th down is worthy of it. And Emmanuel Beal made the stop. They're going to go tempo on 4th down, effectively putting the game on the line right here.
The ruling on the field of a 1st down is under further review.
Okay. Well, you know, sometimes I think that works against the offense. I don't know that that's something like Gundy really wanted.
Well, the fullbacks have not been a factor in this game very much for Oklahoma State, and we've seen them deploy them effectively. You can see that Blake Jarwin gets his head down, and that ball maybe looks like it's right on top of the line.
I think he's short.
You think he's short?
Oh yeah, he's short. Yeah. And they're never going to change the mark. They never change spots. But it's not his call. That was just an official's decision. And I think a lot of times that's just luck of the draw.
Yeah.
You know, they were ready to go tempo and use speed to get the 1st down before Oklahoma could set up defensively.
Well, certainly at this point in the game, with the Cowboys trailing, pace and tempo as a tactical advantage is one that should work for them, but they've got to pick the right spots. And when you get, for whatever reason, a play stop, it's slowed down or stopped because of a measurement, that impedes your ability to execute your game plan.
You know, they went to this cowboy back thing a couple of years ago. Gundy was talking to us a little bit about it. They've had some success both with Blake Jarwin and with Zach Veach, numbers 47 and 86 respectively. Jarwin is more of a receiver than Veach, but both have been very effective at times. The problem here is that, you know, you've lost the suddenness of whatever the call is going to be on your part by virtue of this review of the spot. And you're putting the game on the line, Spencer, with, gosh, just under 12 minutes left.
if you determine you're going to go for it? Do you think he might just go ahead and opt to punt if, in fact, the spot is ruled to be accurate?
I would say he would if, in fact, they'd had more success downfield pushing the ball. Again, every game is going to leave bibliography and footnotes, and the 3 quarters that we played to this point have, and they've just not had that much success pushing the ball down the field. I mean, this team has 21 explosive plays of 40 yards or more on the year. We've not seen that today.
Mike Pereira, we've looked at reviews of spots many times before, but I don't think we've ever seen an overturn. Your thoughts?
You know, and this is an interesting one because, you know, they don't use the yellow line. And if you look at the actual spot where they started here.
The runner is ruled down short of the line to gain at the 41-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 1/2 yard.
Go ahead and finish your point there, Mike.
Yeah, it's interesting because we looked at the ball being snapped at the 31, but the yellow line was beyond the 41, so it made it look a little deceiving.
Yeah.
It's and that's why they don't use that line. But you are right, Tim. I mean, you so seldom are ever going to get these spots overturned trying to find the foremost point of the ball, the farthest forward point of the ball.
It does appear, thank you, Mike, it does appear they have opted to punt it away, Spencer, and I like this call by Gundy.
Yep.
No reason, particularly given the elements that we have today.
That's right.
And the turnovers we've already seen, why put the game on the line right here?
I agree 100%, and that was the point I was attempting to make. Again, the issue is you've not done anything from an offensive standpoint in terms of pushing the ball down the field, in terms of explosive plays. Just don't make a mistake. You've got a shot.
Timeout. Oklahoma State.
Well, maybe they're going to rethink. I mean, I can't imagine why you would use a timeout there if you weren't considering something.
It's very rare would you see that guy right there, one of the sharp, underrated coaches in America, make a mission-critical mistake in this type of situation. He thinks that everything's out. He's one of the best schemers in the game today. Makes some unconventional choices sometimes. Mike Yurcich, his offensive coordinator, one of them, but it's worked out swimmingly for him.
A reminder, tonight it's the Big Ten Championship on Fox. A showdown. Corey Clement, number 6, Wisconsin. And Trace McSorley, and number 7, Penn State. Coverage will begin at 7 Eastern on Fox, or you can watch live on Fox Sports Go. You look at the top 10. I know a lot of people have penciled in Washington, and understandably so.
It was an impressive win, Tim.
I present for you, though, the 127th in FBS non-conference schedule. And if Penn State beats Wisconsin big, a la Ohio State, over Wisconsin 2 years ago, the debate will rage on. They are going for it. They are putting the game on the line, and Carson's in the backfield.
Oklahoma's playing a soft nose technique. If they want to run it over the 0, they could.
Carson. It breaks free. Pretty good call by Mike Gundy. And as you said, he and Yurcich know what they're doing.
Yep. Here's the soft zone that I was talking about here. Over the nose. It was a flex position. Oklahoma got gashed on that one.
1st and 10, Rudolph. Lets it fly, and that's Beach. That cowboy back that we were talking about. So he and Blake Jarwin, the cowboy backs, a la tight end H-back, have made the 2 influential plays in this drive.
Beautiful series of plays by Mike Yurcich, the offensive coordinator for Oklahoma State. He, too, now had his surgical garb on, working down the field nicely.
They go out pattern, and that one was almost picked. Carson coming out in the flat, and Jordan Evans had a beat on it. And had he maybe another step, it could have been 6.
Yeah, Evans is the inside linebacker again, using that right hand, and he committed to it. And the point is, if that had been a defensive back with a little bit more body control, he probably would have picked that one off and headed the opposite direction. But Evans is a bigger linebacker sort, right here out of Norman, Oklahoma, 235 pounds. Nice breakup.
Played big in that West Virginia
win,
he did. Most recently in Morgantown. 2nd and 10.
Love the way Rudolph is taking his time to get in the right play, identifying the inside backer.
Hill on the stretch play. Spun down by Stephen Parker, number 10.
Help the strong safety. Boy, he wiped that play clean, and Parker came up and played physical at the point of attack there. Just 204 pounds from Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's a junior. That's what you want out of a strong safety. Excellent play.
All right, 3rd and 10. Big play here. What do you suspect?
Well, you got the wide side of the field. You got a twins package there. You got all kind of route combinations. You can run a vertical route, but what's going to dictate it is the coverage. Look at the pad that the 2 safeties on the hash and on the 20 are giving the 2 receivers. You need protection to let them get past coverage.
Oklahoma's going to get a timeout. This may well be the biggest play of the game.
Yep.
Stoops couldn't stop him on 4th down. Can he stop him on 3rd coming up? Fox College football sponsored by Jared, the Gallery of Jewelry. This is an interesting call on 3rd down now, depending upon whether Mike Gundy is thinking 4-down territory or 3 downs or try the field goal. They're 4 of 13 on 3rd down conversions.
Roman numeral 12, Timmy.
Lacey is at the bottom of your screen. Only 1 catch for him today, number 15. Carson, look out. Look out. He gets it down to the 21-yard line. That's going to be 2 yards shy. Now, consider this. Ben Grogan, your kicker for Oklahoma State, is 15 of 16 inside the 40, but he's only 1 of 4 beyond the 40-yard line. And here on 4th down, they're calling upon him to kick this one. And they're going to set it up now at that gain got them into his
range,
into his wheelhouse. So they're going to go for the field goal here. That play was designed to get him inside the 40, where he's been money. 38 yards the try. And he hooked it. In theory, it looked like a good idea. Statistically, it was.
Well, he had enough distance, as you said. He just hooked it. And from the side, it looked like a nice punch. He just hooked it when it came off the foot. Nice delivery from the center, the whole position. And you're right, just a little to the left.
But that play design, Spencer, that call was made with the idea that we're extending this game and we're going to count on our field goal guy to make it a 1-possession game.
Well, Tim, it's cliche, but it is so true. In big games, they typically are lost, not won. There's usually a mistake, whether it's a hook, whether it's a drop pass or a fumble. And Mike Gundy understands that, but he also understands he has the capacity to score quickly. Something they've not done today, but they still have it.
We'll see if it's deflating for Oklahoma State defensively here. Mixon. Touchdown.
Another huge play. These backs have perfected the art of sucking the joy out of a moment for opponents that come into Gaylord Family Field.
It's an emotional game, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Oklahoma State had it right where they wanted it. Then statistically, something that they were playing for did not go their way. Heads were hanging, shoulders were floundering, and Joe Mixon stirred the drink that the Cowboys could not stand. Oklahoma is on its way to claiming Bedlam. Fox College Football, presented by Jared, is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. It's a college football tradition. 4 plays, over 65 yards for that young man. 79, the most recent one. 69, 66, and 67. By the way, the 79, the longest run of Mixon's career. And you could just see that one coming from the moment the field goal was missed. It was as if the air went out of Oklahoma State and it transferred to their defense.
Yeah,
Once he got to the second level, Spencer, it was over.
It was. Mixon did a fine job of just taking the dagger and sticking it in their heart. 11 rushes now for 99 yards along with Perine. They formed a formidable task here coming in against Glenn Spencer's defense, which has done a great job against running back so far this year. Perine with 187 yards.
Now the difference is there are running backs and then there are the two that OU has.
Oh yeah, they're elite guys.
That's a great tandem. When they're both healthy, it's just hard to beat. Here's Sanders from the goal line. Barry Sanders trying to do it again. And it's Seibert who tackled him at midfield at halftime that ushers him out here. Still plenty of time. Remember, they score quickly in this league.
Sanders trying to get him back in there, slow plays it and waits for them to collapse. And that funnel that we often talk about, showing some vision down the field. And then that left hand extended to get a couple of extra yards before he's pushed to the sideline by Seibert.
Barry, a grad transfer, of course, was at Stanford, where he did primarily the same thing and had a chance to come and be a part of the program that his dad won the Heisman for back in 1988. Yes, he is the son of the Barry Sanders. Carson in the backfield, 1st and 10. Rudolph checks down and hits Carson out of the backfield. And he scampers to the 36-yard line of Oklahoma. Okoronkwo with a stop.
Yeah, Emmanuel Bill missed a tackle there in space, and that's one of the perils of playing in the spread concept these days. You will be in man coverage scenarios, and down the stretch in particular, you'll be asked to make plays with no help around you.
Blake Jarwin had that big play on 3rd down to keep a drive alive that unfortunately for Oklahoma State led to a missed field goal. Trying to block here for Hill, and it's nothing doing. Justice Hill, who had a great first quarter, has been stymied since. That's Jordan Evans, number 26, making the stop.
Very disciplined play by Evans there, waiting and reading and reacting.
3rd and 4. Rudolph's pass is airmailed, intended for Washington. He has not been accurate today. I think the slippery ball has been a problem for Mason.
Yep.
He's been less accurate than we've seen him in the past.
Well, Jordan Thomas, the corner boundary, was there, but had nothing to do with this pass. Was just errant.
Yep.
He tried to come back to it and look him off, but the eyes were deceived. No one, particularly Jordan Thomas, at that boundary safety position.
64% on the year. You see the numbers today. 4th down.
Sooners going straight man. Somebody's got to win for Oklahoma State.
Looking for Lacey. Hammered by Okoronkwo. Obo got there again. Well, they've just been unable to handle number 31.
Obo played the note the Cowboys certainly didn't want to hear. Dissonant, but execution outstanding. Nice job of working on Victor Saleko, the tackle on that left side, and just speed rush went right by him and got into Mason Rudolph's wheelhouse.
And Salako's an outstanding tackle.
Oh, he's great now. But again, Timmy, when you're in a wide 5 or 7 technique, that means you're either on his outside shoulder or wider. It puts that big old 335-pound guy, as athletic as he may be, in space. So now you got a skinny guy that can go either way. It's tough.
Some scene as Boomer Sooner begins chanting at Owen Field inside Gaylord Family Memorial Stadium. Perine gets ahead to the 40-yard line. Been some incredible games here. One of the games of the century was played. Nebraska, Oklahoma. Jack Mildren, your quarterback, the late great Jack Mildren. Jerry Taggy was playing for Nebraska. Johnny Rogers, Greg Pruitt.
Oh yes, those are some great ones there now. One of the most underrated former Sooner running backs in history. Had a great run with Cleveland. Long storied history of producing great running backs at this institution.
Those were the days of Devaney and Wilkinson. Obviously those great teams that he had in the 40s and 50s. But you know, you look back at what Barry Switzer took over in the 70s and then carried that through with you into the 80s. That 15-year run was pretty tremendous. Oklahoma State, as a rival, has taken it on the chin. But Spencer, as you mentioned, in recent years it's been highly competitive. This would be the first time in 4 years that a home team has won.
Absolutely. And again, that's what you need to make a rivalry thrive. And Bob Stoops knows it. Yesterday in our conversation and talking to him, in fact, I think you asked him the question, which one makes you more nervous, going to see your sons play or facing Oklahoma State? He says, going to see my boys, that's easy. It's facing these Cowboys, and he respects Mike Gundy and the job he's done there in his 11 years as head coach.
On 3rd and 5, Mayfield with a quick out pattern to Smallwood for a first down.
Oklahoma State has no reason to hang their head in terms of how they've navigated this season, reeling off 7 straight to get to this point.
Spencer, in a lot of ways, you go back, and I'm sure a lot of Oklahoma fans in this building were very concerned when D.D. Westbrook went down. But it's the adjustments made by Lincoln Riley philosophically in his approach to this game. I think it did more to damage Oklahoma State than it did to help. I think Westbrook, when he was in there, they were making some big plays, but they certainly weren't getting the ground yardage in chunks like they did after he left the game.
Timmy, I think you just zeroed in on the most significant nugget any analyst could make for this game, for this particular moment. If you'll recall, Lincoln Riley, who's down on the field, we talked to him about his formula or his approach to the game. And then I asked him a difficult question for those informed fans out there. Are you slowing the game down, running it to protect your defense? I wasn't suggesting that Mike Stoops wasn't doing the job necessarily, but he was very strategic in his response. The bottom line is they had been getting gashed on the defensive side of the ball. A slower game helps insulate them from that. And today, Lincoln Riley performed with surgical precision to slow this game down, but not sacrificing productivity. He got it in explosive plays. 4 plays, 60 yards or more.
Pirine inside the 40 to the 39, and that should be enough for the first down. Line to make was right there at the 39. It'll be very close. You know, I'm asked often about great young offensive coordinators. There are many of them, but Lincoln Riley, who's sort of a back to the future choice really by Bob Stoops, give him a lot of credit. You know, when he first got this job, he brought this guy named Mike Leach over from Kentucky that worked with Al Mummy, and he had gotten away from it. You know, when Kevin Wilson was here, they weren't running anything remotely similar to spread, and now he's kind of gone back to the future with this hire because Lincoln came up under Leach. 1st and 10. Give it to Pirine again. He's ahead for about 4 there to the 36-yard line. Stearns make the stop, and our progressive performance of the game, this one's pretty simple. It's the combination of Pirine and Joe Mixon.
The perfect elixir for the Sooners today. Weaving and bobbing for big yardage. Pirine doing the heavy dose, showing you got to come with all of it if you plan to tackle me. And then the elite execution by Mixon. We hadn't seen his hands today, but he sure can run big time, Jimmy.
Samaje in the game there. You see the combined numbers, 305 and 2 touchdowns between the two. Pirine again. He's now over 4,000, Spencer, with that run. The last one, not this one, but the last one got him over 4,000 in his career.
That's amazing. He's getting there, and he'll get a bowl game to do it, but he's closing in on Billy Sims' all-time rushing record, and he's a little ways, but he may be able to get it in a spectacular bowl performance.
I know they lost those early season games to Houston and Ohio State, but and again, I go back to Oklahoma's brand. When you take on a non-conference schedule that's like that, you know, the Tennessee win in Knoxville last year helped them. This year, the Ohio State game played here hurt them because they didn't win it. But they still take on all comers, and you'll never doubt their strength of schedule. Pirine again. He had the back judge or the umpire, you know, seeking some help. He was about to get run over by number 32.
And Pirine thought he was a magnet. He just went after him. He wasn't trying to avoid him. He's looking for some help, looking for help from that 12th man, that blocker.
Oh, get out of there.
Oh, man. What a talent he is when he's 100% healthy. The tandem of Pirine and Mixon, by far and away, in my opinion. And we've seen some nice tandems. Matter of fact, their counterparts last week, or 2 weeks ago now, since they had the off date, rushed for 305 yards combined. And for consecutive outings, Pirine and Mixon had.
He just won't go down.
Yep, he's tough, man.
Inside the 15 to the 14.
You know, they say a steady drip will wear a hole in the rock, and that's what P. Ryan is doing today in this Bedlam Series version here today in Norman, Oklahoma. Wow.
Second down and 3 coming up.
Tim, you started the list of great running backs. We didn't even get to Joe Washington and
Billy Sims.
And Marcus Dupree. And
well, both of these programs have lineage at running back that's off the charts.
And there were some great ones like Steve Sewell that people won't remember, but he was a second-round draft pick by the Denver Broncos. Long career.
Nothing doing for P. Ryan there. Stopped by Jordan Burton. Well, tonight, our friends Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt will have that Big Ten championship. And Spencer, so much conversation. I think a lot will rest now for the committee on the outcome of this game that we'll have on Fox tonight, Penn State and Wisconsin. I personally believe it's going to take a blowout win for either team.
No question. To
get into the conversation based on how good Washington looked last night. I thought their defense was incredible.
Well, their defense,
suffocating.
Their defense was absolutely incredible last night, and that basically barred any hope, unfortunately, for the winner of this game sneaking or backdooring in.
Yeah. P. Ryan stopped at about the 12. How do you see that game? How do you see Wisconsin and Penn State?
Well, unfortunately, here's the upshot of it. Penn State could win that game, and I still think they're going to be on the outside looking in. I think Whiskey is playing enough defense, one of the hottest defensive coordinator minds in the nation right now. They're going to be absolutely fine. I think Whiskey wins it.
Okay. Well, if that happens and you look at the influential games that they had this year, that's another wrinkle. Basically, it's going to come down to Virginia Tech being the fly in the ointment.
Yeah, there you go.
If they win over Clemson, now you've got a real conversation piece on your hands. 4th and 1. P. Ryan, it's there. And he takes a knee.
That's a nice heads-up move right there.
He takes a knee. Why not?
That's respect. And again, the game is not necessarily that tight, but that was a heads-up, classy play by P. Ryan. Does a nice job of getting in there and putting his knee down.
Yeah, that is class. Yep. In a rivalry game. Yep. And I'll say this, a lot of the Oklahoma State contingent, their team and a lot of their fans were on hand. I know how bitter this rivalry can be, how chippy it is, but the level of respect that both Mike Gundy and Bob Stoops had, the time that they've been at their respective institutions, that speaks highly of both.
Yep, and I call it the element of recency. What you do last, you remember most.
Yep.
And that play P. Ryan just did,
they are the Big 12 champions, the Oklahoma Sooners, undefeated for the first time since the Big 12 was put in play. They've been undefeated before in conference play, and winners now of 9 in a row. They will be Sugar Bowl bound. A likely opportunity against Auburn. 46th title in school history.
It was the anatomy of how they won it, Timmy. Without D.D. Westbrook, their top receiver, P. Ryan went down several times and came back to be a contributing factor. Oklahoma looked okay today.
Yes, indeed. Incredible performance for Baker Mayfield. And those running backs that he had with him, oh boy. Down to Bruce Feldman with Bob Stoops. Bruce?
Coach, you told me after the start of the third, after halftime, you guys got to run the football better. What changed with this group?
You know, just the execution. I know Coach Biedenbow made some adjustments with the O-line after seeing what they were doing. The guys blocked well. Samaje and Joe Mixon were great, running, powerful guys running the ball. The whole script flipped, and then defensively we stopped their run game, and we started running it, and that was the key to winning.
This is the 10th Big 12 title you've had in 17 years. What stands out about this group?
Just special. I've been blessed beyond belief with administration, great players, great staff member, you know, great coaches, assistant coaches. So we've got a great team of people here working all together, and I've just been fortunate to be in front of it as a head coach.
All right, Coach, you got a trophy to go collect. We'll see you in a minute.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Bruce. The Sooners have now, under Bob Stoops, won 10 Big 12 championships. That is one more win than he has home losses in his career.
That's impressive. Well, there's always ebb and flow in the course of a season, and this one started out in a very nondescript fashion when this team ran into a red-hot Houston team who was coming off a postseason victory over Florida State the year before, and then followed up with a loss to Ohio State and rebounded nicely.
And the kid that was a walk-on and just decided, you know what, I think I'll leave and go play at Oklahoma, where they have a guy that was Sugar Bowl MVP not that long ago. Baker Mayfield is standing by with him.
Baker, it looks like where you wore that shirt, you were ready for this game and what the outcome was going to be like. What really stood out to you when you lose Dede, your best receiver, and obviously Samaje got banged up? What did you guys have to do to win this game?
I just had to have the next guy step up. I mean, we've had that all season. We've had guys get injured on both sides of the ball. So, I mean, we had the next guy step up, making plays, and then the offensive line's playing great. We were able to run the ball.
Looks like the Fu Manchu did you pretty well. Are you going to keep it for the rest of your time here?
No, I think my lady friend might get mad if I have to shave it, or if I don't shave it.
For you guys to close this out and win it here, this is the first time in Bedlam the home team has won in 4 years. What does it say for you guys, and how special is it to win it here?
It's huge, especially knowing that the Big 12 Championship's never going to be here again. You got the Conference Championship next year, so it's good to be here with our home fans. So happy to have it back-to-back. The 10th one for OU right in our stadium.
Thanks, Baker. Back to you, Tim.
Come on now.
That is some leader, that young man right there. The junior from Austin, Texas, Lake Travis High. In a world where if a quarterback doesn't get to play quickly, he goes someplace else, he decided to take on the challenge of competition to become the quarterback at Oklahoma. It's a rare quality that we see in the modern day internet athlete in college football.
Well, we need that capacity. More young men and women, for that matter, need to be able to embrace the difficult challenges that come before them, because life isn't going to get any easier. And to see Baker Mayfield accept and embrace an opportunity to come here and play with Trevor Knight, was ensconced in that starter position as a young quarterback, that speaks volumes to his sense of confidence about what he can do, but more important, what's possible. That's an outstanding job by him.
The college game is one of evolution.
Yep.
By the way, we're going to be getting down there for that trophy presentation in just a moment. By the way, Perine's 239 yards gives him a total of 4,036th in his OU career. That is 5th all time. That's up there with some of the greatest names in the history of Oklahoma running backs.
Yeah, Billy Sims is up there with a little over 4,100. Joe Washington, he's eclipsed that 4,000 as well. Adrian Peterson, Steve Owens, and then Samaje Perine's in that 5-hole. All with 100 yards.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yep. Magnificent performance. And on so many levels, we talk about the evolution of the game. I thought it was wonderful what he said about having a chance to win it in Norman. Next year, this championship game will be in Arlington at Jerry's World. They're going to need and they want the 13th data point. That's a very common phrase that you're hearing during the playoff era. And I think that's in the best interest of the Big 12. But this was old school, sort of 20th century championship football we witnessed today. A regular season game played in a home field and a title won.
So much about success in the college game today is about how you adapt.
Yeah.
It's about adjustments from half to half, quarter to quarter. We saw the transition from the first quarter to the second quarter.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State with 121 yards rushing. A little tweak here by Oklahoma and Mike Stoops shutting them down essentially in that second quarter. And then the beautiful job by the offensive coordinator, Lincoln Riley, slowing the game down to help not just his defense, but also his quarterback as well, because Dede Westbrook was down. And number 6 there, Mayfield, had the game of his life.
All right, let's go back down to Bruce Feldman for the Big 12 trophy presentation. I know he's got the commissioner as well as Bob Stoops down there with him. Bruce, take it away.
All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bruce Feldman from Fox Sports, and let me be the first to congratulate the 2016 Big 12 champion, Oklahoma Sooners. Okay, with me here is Bob Bowlesby. He's the commissioner of the Big 12. I think he has a little presentation for you guys.
Coach Stoops, President Boren, Director Castiglione, and a terrific football team. Congratulations on yet another conference championship. Enjoy the postseason. Congratulations.
I think we're in Africa.
Let's get ready to take our picture. Oh, yeah, I need to be in this one. Oh, young Will.
Bob, you guys started out 1-2 this year. Some people wrote you off. You guys are here now celebrating this. What do you say about this team and how they battled through everything?
Just very resilient, had a great positive attitude, kept our confidence, and the guys just kept improving each and every week.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Congratulations.
All right, let's get for it.
Yes.
Congratulations to Bob Stoops and his Oklahoma Sooners, champions again in the Big 12 Conference. 9 wins in a row. Amazing. Well, his running backs certainly played like Heisman candidates today, both of them, Pirine and Mixon. But how about our final Nissan Heisman watch of the year, Spence?
You know, it's ironic we didn't know that D.D. Westbrook was going to go down, so we actually slid him in that. It was based on his performance before. But I still think Jalen Hurts, who could become the first true freshman to go wire to wire and win a national championship since Jamel Holloway did it back in 1984-85, our year. So it was an outstanding performance. He's got a chance to do that. And again, by the way, Fox's own Troy Aikman was the quarterback of that team. Broke his tibia against Miami, and then came Jamel, and we ran the table from the rest of the way out.
The Oklahoma Sooners win Bedlam, and they will play in the New Year's Six Bowl, more than likely the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, with Auburn out of the SEC on the other side. The Taste of Winning, sponsored by Coca-Cola. And the Sooners won again, their 10th title, and Bob Stoops yet again is riding high in the Bedlam series. We'll be back to wrap it up here on Fox after this.